Well, good morning, everybody. Ben and Woods, 97.3, The Fan. Groundhog Day commences here on the program. That's how I feel lately, groundhoggy. It happens from time to time.
Rise and shine, campers.
Yeah, that's exactly
Don't forget
it.
your booties because it's cold outside.
It feels like that every day. I don't know how you shake it. I really don't know how you shake it, but I don't know. Just try to do something different, I guess. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, executive producer. Good morning, Paulie.
Good morning.
And Benjamin Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, here as well. Very well rested, Ben Higgins, with the new schedule. But it's not going so well. It is, but it isn't.
It is. I'm getting lots of good rest. I feel awake and alive at 6 a.m., which is great. I've just been working a ton lately.
You haven't had a day off, really.
I've had, I think, one day off in the last almost 3 weeks, like from both jobs, just a full day off.
Just a full day.
Well, I've got some vacation coming up at the end of next week.
Yep.
And the way it always works is you prepay for your vacation in this business.
So hard. Double work.
You have to just do everything before you leave that you were going to have to do while you were gone, other than do the show with you. But all the commercials at TV, I've got to cover, the shifts that I'm going to have to get covered for me when I'm there. So you just do all the extra work before you actually get to take some time off. So, and, I was filling in this weekend, so I've been doing our Sports Extra show. I did it on Saturday night, Sunday night. Last night after the Monday Night Football game, we had another one. So, yeah, I've been working a lot lately. I'm doing the 10 News Leadership Award. I've got a shoot this afternoon that I'm doing.
Did I win?
No, you did not win the Leadership Award this month. I can't give it away, but it wasn't you.
If I buy a plate to your special dinner, can I then win?
No, you have
the leadership
to authentically be a leader in the community.
I am literally a community leader. I don't know what you're talking about. I coach several child's athletic teams. It exhibit a lot of leadership qualities. I am actually
I want to
upset
see you
that
picking up trash on the beach
I've done
every
it.
weekend.
I used to take Bo on trash hunts,
That's
as
right,
you
you
know. What the hell? I didn't get nominated.
I'm going to nominate you.
All right,
next
thank
month.
you. It's just nice to be nominated sometimes instead of all these. What are you going to give it to? A teacher? Big deal. You teach.
Technically, actually, it is going to someone in the education industry.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Better not be an administrator.
No.
Better be the rank and file down there, get their hands dirty. Having some. I hope my kids aren't up right now, but you have kids, Ben. I'll lean on you for a little advice here. What do you do? What do you do when your kid, when you look at him, you're like, you're lying. I know you're lying. We're running into this bit at home of long story short, my son got a new watch. It's called a Gizmo. I told you guys about it. And
this is my favorite.
He can call us and we can call him. He can't look at porno or anything on there. There's no internet. Yeah, it's just a watch.
So he walks around like James Bond or something.
But he can call us, we can track him, and we always know where he is. It's pretty smart, for a 5-year-old in this day and age. And
how far away is he getting from you to track?
Well,
just
at
like
school,
at school,
if somebody snatched him, we'd know where he was.
He's got a low jack.
He's got a low jack, but honestly, bro, I'm so paranoid about it. I'd never let the kid out of my sight, even when we're on the street, playing, and he's just like, "I'm gonna go over here and collect worms," and I'm like, I just stare at him, waiting for somebody to grab him. So he's got that thing. So he comes home yesterday, and the watch is stuffed down in the backpack. And Hannah goes, what's going on with this? And he goes, I had to take it off today. And she goes, well, why? Were you messing with it? He goes, no, Miss Murphy said I can't wear it. And he goes, well, why? She goes, she just said I can't wear it today. So then I come in. I'm like, what's going on? And I go, so just today, so you've worn it for 3 weeks every day. And now he's on trial. Now I am district attorney. And he's on the stand, and he's folding. And I mean, he's dug in. And he's like, she just said Friday, don't wear it Monday. I go, were you messing with it, looking at it Friday? No. So randomly, she walks in and says to you, you're no longer allowed to wear your watch. Is that what you're telling me? Yes. You're lying to me. I know you're lying to me. And I said, Bo, just tell me the truth. If you tell me the truth, you will not be in trouble. You can come to me and be like, hey, Dad, guess what? I stole a car. If I find out you stole a car, you're dead. If you don't tell me. This is becoming a thing. He's 5. I get it. It's what happens. He's really afraid of getting in trouble, but not so afraid of getting in trouble for the lie, which I told him is the worst part. That's the worst part of it. Buddy, I'll help you. I'll help you cover up anything you do. if you just come to me. I'm like your biggest ally. Just tell me what you did. Were you messing with it? No. And I'm like, you son of a bitch.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
That's Bo. Bo's Jack Nicholson. I swear to God. Bo is listening right now. Bo, I love you. I love you so much. And you're a sweet angel. And I really like your bits that you do. We are Fartners and Fat Ass instead of FedEx. And Wiener Hal from Bill Howe. You're a very talented comedian. So just always tell your old man the truth.
I don't know. My kids have never lied to me.
Never once.
So I don't know the answer to that question.
Hannah and I, because like, you know, the thing, interpersonal relationships with kids when they're at school and they're learning to feel each other out, right? They're learning that like, hey, this is space, and maybe he doesn't want me in his space, right? Like they're just learning their way in the world. They're 5 years old. It's not that big a deal. But every time something happens, he's like, I didn't do anything, he did. And Hannah and I are like, really? Okay, yeah, we believe you. You're a sweet angel. Hannah and I were sitting last week going, is it possible? Is it possible that he's the instigator sometimes? And of course it's possible. But yeah, I watched him dig himself in this hole last night, and it really, it made me nervous.
Deny till you die.
Deny till you die.
I get it. I did the same thing.
Paulie, did you have a smartphone when you were growing up? I'm trying to, Woods and I, they didn't exist when we were growing up.
No,
so
I
we'd go to
was
school.
17, I think, when the first iPhone came out.
Okay, so you didn't have one to take to school with you.
My first cell phone, I got a pay-as-you-go brick Nokia cell phone.
How old?
13. 7th grade.
So you had a phone, but nothing special.
Who did you call? Just your buddies and stuff?
Yeah, pretty much. It was. I remember my first phone I got. You had to pay 5 cents a text message.
Damn, which doesn't sound like a lot. Think about how many texts you send a day.
So I remember the first girl, Grace Dostert, when she sent me the first girl that texted me. Like my first text message, I was like, "This is cool." This was like you took the instant messaging online on AOL. And I got it in the palm of my hands. And I had a few friends that had the unlimited text plan. But it was so new. My mom was like, we don't need that. I'm like, all right, well, it's 5 cents a text. She's like, okay. I'm like, I'm just going to live my life then. Sent, 1,000 texts or whatever over the course of a month.
Paul, you have a $14,000 cell
She got the
phone.
bill and she goes, all right, we'll get the unlimited text thing. 1 month. It took 1 month.
Dude, I can vividly remember getting my first phone. It was a gold Nokia. Like, that's how old I am. And I was
Play Snake on it?
Yeah, Snake was the best. I was a professional. Selling radio at the time. It was my first time. I remember going in.
It was like post-college before we even had
100%.
phones in our life. So just nowadays, these kids, I know there a lot of schools say they want them put away or whatever, but a lot of kids have cell phones now, especially, not 5, but Bo's got the watch now, and kids bring them to school, and it's got to be a challenge for the teachers. It's so
at high school, I
easily
can't even...
distracting to have your phone there when you're bored at school and you've been there all day. The easy thing, take out your phone and you're just going to stop paying attention to the teacher. It's got to be a real challenge.
We get distracted at work by our phones. All of us. It happened. He's just distracted right now. Look, see, he's looking at his phone.
With my watch.
Exactly. So
because I love the walkie-talkie feature. I never use it.
Yeah, so they are major distractions, but I don't know, man. I just love that kid so much. I just want him to be great, and I know he will be, and I know he's figuring it out. So I'm trying to be a little lenient about it. But that's like what's your one thing as a parent? Like, that's my one thing. You can, bro, whatever you need, I got you.
I'll bet you have. Just don't lie to me.
Don't lie to me. That's it. That's my one thing. And be nice to your mom. That's it.
All right, what's the worst you ever lied to your parents?
Oh, dude, hundreds of times, thousands of times. And my parents, I think, got to the point where they were like, just, it's fine. We don't believe you, but you give up a little. And I don't want that necessarily.
There is a point when, as they get older, you think they're probably lying, but you also acknowledge that that's part of growing up. And even
that's where I am
even
right
as
now.
a parent, you may not be, you deserve to know absolutely everything that's going on with their kids.
No
it's
question.
important that they have their own things.
Yes.
And everyone has private stuff that doesn't even get shared with their parents.
Sure.
At 5, no. But,
right.
as they get older, that is part of growing up. And you just have to kind of acknowledge that you can't know everything about your children's lives for the rest of their lives. They have to learn on their own. And
I think
lying is a skill that I've never been very good at.
I'm not good at it.
I didn't do it a lot growing up. So, but people are better at it, and you practice with your parents as you're growing up, apparently.
Yeah, it's you just want your kid when you send them off to school to be like good. That's what you want. Your mom probably rested easy every single day sending you off to school. Hannah and I are in a little bit different story right now, but it's mostly like I just want him to know how much I have his back, right? Like I always got your back. I'm not going to be mad at you. I'm not. I get mad about lying. I don't get mad about anything else. I really don't. Just be nice to your mom. Don't call her a butt sniffer like you did yesterday. Butt sniffer is what she woke up to. He's grumpy, and it's in Sandlot, butt sniffer. So that he does that bit.
Do you feel that your humorous reaction sometimes to the comments will then lead to sometimes inappropriate moments of those comments when you don't want them?
Well, it's the whole thing, as I told him many times. You can say whatever you want to me. Just leave your mom out of it. I don't care what you say. You have carte blanche to do whatever you want around me. Don't lie to me. I'm your best friend. Do not lie to your best friend. I'll pull you out of more trouble than you could imagine. But just don't lie to me. And so, yeah, we've been having these issues at home, but he's such a good kid, so I don't want to rake him over the coals as I just did for 15 minutes. He's such a good kid, and he's thoughtful and sensitive and sweet, and he takes care of other people and all of that, which is like the best qualities to have, because I see other kids that are literally vacant at 5 years old, vacant. Like you're like, what's going on? There's no emotion. So he's just struggling with it right now.
I think for me as a parent, and now my kids are obviously older. They're barely. They're not really even kids anymore. Right. They're young adults. It's the worry. It always bothers me when I see them doing something that I know, like life, you have to be able to take care of yourself in life. Like, hey, you got to manage your checking book a little bit better. Don't get those overdraft alerts or something. This is like, you got to know about this. You got to be careful about this.
I submit to you.
I can bail you out now, but when I'm not around or later, I just want to know that you're going to be able to handle these things that are part of everyday life that without me like monitoring you.
And I submit to you that should be what's taught in school. Not geology. Nobody needs geology. To the geologists out there listening, I'm very sorry. Unless that is your life's passion, I don't need to know the difference between igneous and what's the other one? Sedimentary. I don't need it.
And metamorphic. There's three, actually.
Teach your boy here how to manage and balance his money. Teach your boy how to invest. Teach your boy about what teach me about what insurance is. What's a deductible? I still don't know. I'm 48 years old. I have no idea how to do it.
So glad I'm not alone.
Foster said it to me the other day. He goes, well, I guess we have a high deductible. I go, I don't know what that means. What do you mean a high deductible? Does that cost you a lot or a little? I don't know what you mean.
What's your out-of-pocket cap?
I don't know. I don't even know what it is. So teach the kids.
What's the copay then?
I have no idea. Teach the kid. I know copay is like $10 when I go to the doctor.
That's all you know.
Oh, that's all I know.
You know where that money goes. You know why you're paying it.
But sometimes I go in and they go, no, nothing. And I'm like, but it was $20 last time. So I don't effing understand. Teach me the inner workings of insurance. Teach me how to buy a home, how to buy a car.
How to change your oil.
These are valuable skills that kids are not taught.
Never were. I wasn't taught them either. So,
and you better hope my dad was fiscally responsible as hell, and even he was like, "I'm not."
But I know about photosynthesis.
Yeah, I know about photosynthesis. I know glucose. I know geology. Pythagorean theorem. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I demand change is made. That was a
practical education.
Practical
I
education.
have said for years there needs to be a life lessons class in every high school.
Yes, let him teach it. Let Ben teach it.
I had a business class in high school that was at least in that same realm. Like, we practiced job interviews and resumes and stuff like that. But college applications, loans, insurance, stuff like that, no idea.
It's so
Why
good.
wouldn't we teach the youth all of that information?
Teach these kids how to survive on their own. Teach them.
Because that's what you worry about.
That's what you worry about.
Applying for a credit card.
Yes.
Stuff like
that. What happens if you don't pay your credit card bill? How does credit work? How does your credit score work? These are all important things.
I've got no idea on credit score. Really,
Same.
It doesn't make any sense.
I got a thing the other day. They're like, "Oh, they've had too many attempts on your credit, so your credit's down."
I promise.
I'm like, why does that affect it?
I've used insurance deductibles and credit a hell of a lot more than
I've got me.
advanced geometry.
You pay off your bill too fast. Your credit's not good.
Your credit sucks. Yeah,
pay it back, but not too quickly.
fast.
Nobody ever told me that. Nobody ever told me.
You can't charge something on a Monday and pay it off on a Tuesday.
Give me some practical life skills. That's what we're here to do on Ben and Woods this morning. Thank you for indulging us. I really did need that advice, and I'm going to cut the kid a break. He's off the hook today, but just want to,
But going forward, total honesty.
Want to figure that out. He needs to know his old man's got his back. That's it.
I'm going to be totally honest with you. I'm very excited about today's show, especially for our 8:35 guest. You see him covering the MLB playoffs. Matt Vasgersian, former voice of the Padres, will be back with us at 8:35. We'll talk about the ALCS. I think he's covering that one. NLCS as well. Game 1 was last night, so we'll get into tons of baseball. Monday Night Football last night. We got all of our regular features. The Daily Ditty theme coming up next. Paulie picked it yesterday in honor of Woods going to the Sphere in Las Vegas. Acts you'd love to see in that venue. Like
we decided
living current acts.
Like U2 is booked, I think, through the end of 2023.
Who do you want to see next?
Who would you like to see as the next residency?
Love it.
So I will make my pick when we come back, and then we are off and running here on a Tuesday. Glad to have everybody with us. Just be honest with us on San Diego's #1 sports
Actually,
station.
don't. I don't want you guys to be honest with us at all.
Give us the traffic straight here on 97.3 The Fan.
Oh, Benjamin. We are middle-aged and white, aren't we? She's so good, though.
Different choice than Polly, went Rolling Stones, kind of over-the-top rock. But I thought when you talked about the scene in the Sphere when they had, like, the desert out.
Oh, dude.
And I just thought about being in there and letting her voice, Adele, wash over me.
And letting, like, this part, crank it a little bit, Polly. Like, when it kicks in, rain coming down, and then you can do anything. You can do anything you want. It's incredible, the graphics. Hold on, here we go. Oh, little Ben in there. Fire, and rain pours down. I mean, we're absolutely screwed. Like the next show I go to, I'm gonna be like, oh, this is so boring. Right. It doesn't matter. You can have fire breathers out there. It's not gonna be even close. I am in stitches right now. We just got a tweet from Clicksby. This is Ben Woods. As your resident high school geology teacher, this crushes my soul. There are tons of uses in daily life.
You just canceled geology in favor of
guys pouring his coffee, listening to the show. Going, what the hell did I do?
He's like, what did I do, you bastards? And he says, there are tons of uses in daily life where you might need to know the difference between igneous, metamorphic, and sedimentary rocks. For example, when you're in the sand trap for the 33rd time. And I said, I'm so sorry. It's just the first thing that I thought of. Geology's fantastic. For geologists, it's great. It's really, really good. It's just the first thing that popped into my head. And I actually did okay in geology, to be honest with you. Trigonometry. I should have just hit trigonometry because I don't really use that on a daily basis. But Paulie just told us a story. I almost peed my pants about him as a youth.
We were talking about lies you've told to your parents.
Yeah, and Paulie just said one, and I died. I didn't know he had it in him. B, he's a really good liar if he got away with this. Paulie, fill us in.
Yeah, I'm very much in the deny till you die school of thought. And I was probably 7 or 8 years old, elementary school, call it first grade, and took the bathroom pass, the one bathroom pass that we had. Yep. Went to the restroom.
Because you can never have two kids go to the bathroom at the same time because they'll get into more trouble together.
Oh, yeah, or even worse.
And I noticed when I walked into the restroom that there was a jacket laying on the ground. Somebody had left it there. And it belonged to a kid named Mike who I hated.
And you knew it was his.
I knew it was his. I saw him wearing it.
Do you remember what kind of jacket?
It was like a
jean
blue
jacket.
It was like a blue. It was more like a puffy, like rain jacket,
winter jacket.
Yeah. Growing up in Seattle, keep you nice and warm. And I was like, that's Mike's jacket laying on the floor. He left it in the bathroom.
This deviant.
So I took it and I put it in the toilet.
He put it in the toilet. He just looked around, sees it's like, F this guy, and shoves it in the crapper.
And I went back to class, and I sat in my chair, and I continued with my day. And I don't know, 15 minutes later, Mike realized I left my jacket in the bathroom.
Left my jacket in the toilet. Literally.
Goes to retrieve it. And it's stuck. Got to plunge it out of the toilet.
In the toilet, man.
Teacher looks around. Paul, is this you? I said, no.
Wasn't me.
She goes, well, you were the last one to have the bathroom pass. I go, that's weird because I didn't do it.
I don't know what to tell you, kid.
I still got detention. I got in trouble. They called my mom. And I was just like, well, I don't know what to tell you. I didn't do it. It could have been anybody.
He shoved it in the toilet. Oh, my God.
Yes, but the evidence pointed to you, Paul. And the evidence turned out to be correct.
My man just sits there
you
and
can't
wears
prove
it. Wasn't me. Prove it was me. What are you, dusted for prints?
What, you got cameras in the bathroom? Because that's another conversation I'd like to have.
Holy crap. 7 years old, this
what
kid.
What did Mike do to you that you hated him so much at 7 that you stuff his jacket
Was he a jerk or was he like a nerd?
He was a jerk.
Oh, he's a jerk. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll give that one to you. If you were like bullying
No, I wasn't
him, that would
bullying
suck.
him. This guy, he had it coming.
Oh, my God. That guy to this day. So I bet, knowing how, when we were young, I bet you they fished it out and let it hang for 3 days, and he had to take his doo-doo jacket home. And his dad's like, where's your jacket? He's like, somebody put it in the toilet. Really?
Well, it wasn't me.
That's my favorite story I've ever heard, dude. He shoved it in the crapper.
I just saw it.
You were
sitting there
so
and I go,
mad.
Yeah, this is a good idea.
You're 7 years old. It's amazing you didn't grow up to be a criminal.
Paul, we've got Tier 1 Mike on the line. He's like,
He
no.
would like to weigh in. You son of a bitch. That was my favorite jacket.
I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah, now he had to go home and be like, oh, I lost my jacket. Well, I didn't lose it. Somebody shoved it in the toilet.
This is effing Paul.
Paul, there was only one pass administered, and it went to you. I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't do it.
Anybody could have gone in there and done this.
Could have been one of the adults.
Yeah, could have been one of the
an
teachers.
administrator, the principal.
Bro, I am absolutely dying. I'm dying. That is one of my favorite stories I've ever heard. He jammed it in the toilet.
And let's see, I'm 33, so 27 years later, I finally will admit.
There it is.
First time you've ever admitted
Yeah.
that story. Your wife called you a monster in the chat.
Monster 7-year-old Paul.
That is so...
Megan says, Paul is a deviant, don't be fooled.
That
We're
is so
having
good.
entirely too much fun already this
Yeah.
morning. We haven't even started talking some baseball, but I do want to get into the ALCS NLCS games from yesterday. We'll
I know
get to that
you want
coming
to
up.
talk about the Monday Night Football game. You're giddy to talk about it.
I mean, I certainly liked the outcome, as did, by the way, a majority of San Diegans, according to my poll yesterday, just checking to see the temperature on what everyone feels. No one's really changed their mind in 7 years since the team left. So we will get into that as well. This hour on Ben and Woods is brought to you by Smart and Final. This year, beat the Halloween rush. Smart and Final has everything you need for spooky season at prices that are anything but scary. Use promo code 3FREE for free delivery on your next 3 orders of $45 or more. And we'll be right back with more Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Did anyone at all foresee the Texas Rangers coming here in the postseason? The Texas Rangers team that about a month ago looked like they were falling apart and were going to miss the playoffs entirely. They were out of a playoff spot for at least a few days when they got passed by the Astros and Mariners.
So
Blue Jays.
They were such a good team though until
they were good.
They melted down, and they ended up losing the division on the last day of the season, right?
Correct.
And forcing them to go out and have to play an extra series.
It felt like that last day was going to cost them, that they'd have to play the wild card series. Now they're going to Tampa.
Yeah.
You got to win 2 out of 3 in Tampa. You probably cost yourself a chance to advance right there. You can get swept out, or you lose 2 out of 3, and you're done because you couldn't come up with a win on the last day of the regular season.
And they have not lost a freaking game in the postseason. Yesterday I got home and had picked the kids up early. It was early release day, so I went and grabbed both of them, put Taylor down for a nap, and Bo and I settled in to watch the game. And I'm sitting there going, this sucks for baseball because it's 1:30 in the afternoon. Like, it's a 1:30 game or 2 o'clock game whenever it started. And I'm like, there's not another way you could do it, though. There's really not.
It's always been that way.
It's always been that way.
I distinctly remember 1984. I was in first grade, and the Padres and Cubs, well, they had no choice back then because they didn't have lights at Wrigley Field. So games 1 and 2, both weekdays, both noon. While I was in school as a first grader, playing out East Coast or center of the country, at least Central Time Zone. Just finding out that from my first grade teacher that the Padres got bodied 13-0 by whatever in one of the first 2 games. It was ugly.
At school,
at school, and they're down 2-0 because I never got to see it. So.
It's just a weird. Baseball's weird. There's so many teams. There's so many games. You have to figure out a way to squeeze it in. I would have been pretty pissed, though, if they had overlapped them to get them both in prime time, because they were both really good games. I mean, they both ended up being good games.
To be fair, it was 4:30 local time.
4:30 local. That's better. I guess it's just different for West Coast. But, I'm sitting there in the middle of the day going, hey, I love being a morning radio show host because this is one of the absolute perks. This is my job, middle of the day, and I'm watching a baseball game.
I'm only sad that we have one game today.
Yeah, me too. But, first game came, and it just they look like a juggernaut.
Yeah,
man.
But let's get into this. We'll check traffic. Is it possible that the Astros started to turn the tide at all in that game? Let's discuss that, and we'll get into the NLCS Game 1 as well right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Air Max, San Diego's highest-rated heating and air conditioning company. Got a couple of problems here, guys. One of them is this crash blocking the fast lane westbound King Freeway just before the 15. And now reports of a car fire northbound 805, right at the northbound 15 connector. It's over the right shoulder, but fire crew's got that right lane blocked. Looking for the best in HVAC? Choose Air Max, San Diego's highest-rated heating and air company with free diagnostics on all repairs and estimates. See why over 1,100 happy customers have given Air Max 5-star Yelp reviews. See Air Max today at airmax.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I think you're talking about one of the elite pitchers in the game. They have that ability to turn up a notch when they have to, and we made an error, bases loaded, and it's about picking each other up, and he picked us up there and just made some great pitches, and that was a turning point in the game. Bases loaded, nobody out there in the 5th, and found a way to get through it, and terrific job by him. He had good stuff today, pitched very well. And
Bruce Bochy talking about Nathan Eovaldi, and the Astros had many chances to, they got back into the game, but could never quite get all the way, and ended up losing 5-4 yesterday in Game 2, dropping the first 2 at home in the ALCS.
Yeah, and they play pretty well on the road, and they've played well in Arlington. I still don't think they're panicked at all. They've been there before. They've been up against it. The cards are certainly stacked against them. They were talking about, the amount of teams that have lost the first 2 games at home and won the ALCS is 0. I think that's what the stat was yesterday. I want to give a tremendous amount of credit to Bruce Bochy for the way he handled that yesterday. The panic that I would have felt with Eovaldi on the mound, grinding through that, bases loaded, nobody out. I think your natural inclination as a manager is, I can't let him let them back into the game. He let them out there, man, and he knew he's got really, really good stuff. He knows they showed a graphic yesterday too, and I think it was with runners in scoring position. They were batting like 160 off of him. Bruce knows that and said, if anybody's going to get us out of this, it's going to be Nate. And when he did, I mean, he made beautiful pitches to the 9-1 and 2 guys, got him out of that inning, Ben, and I went, oh, my God. If you're Houston, you're watching that game and you're an Astros fan, it felt very similar, Padres fans. We all know what that felt like this year to watch our team absolutely struggle and die with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, and I'll give Boch credit as well. He also knows what he doesn't have, and that's a deep bullpen.
Correct.
That he wasn't able to rely on during the regular season. They've been better in the playoffs.
He had Haney warming up, and he's been pretty good.
Yeah, I mean,
and
but
it's a natural.
You go to him there. I mean, then who's after Haney?
Right.
Who's next? Who's next after that? I mean, he had to use Leclerc for 4 outs at the end, and that looked a little dicey after he gave up the home run. And you know what happens if Evaldi gets to Alvarez, who absolutely owns him? I didn't realize they said the numbers. I was listening on the telecast or the radio cast yesterday. He's something like 9 for 12, and every hit has been absolutely smashed. Hit another home run off of him yesterday. So
Chapman hit one off Chapman.
Oh, he hit 2.
Did he hit 2 yesterday?
Yeah, he hit 2 yesterday. So,
oh my God,
he's been unbelievably on fire in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's right.
You made a great point though during the break. You said the first ups have been so critical all postseason, and the Rangers did it again before Framber Valdez could even settle in. First 5 batters reach. You got 4 runs in the first inning.
Error.
I mean, after that, the Astros definitely won that game.
Yeah.
For the last 8.5 innings, the Astros did win that game.
Yeah,
but
if you do the old, hey, if you take out the first inning, we actually would have won that game. They played really tough. The defense, I thought, was just, I mean, the Jonah, was young error at third was bad. But, you saw Altuve picking it. You saw really, really good defense from the Astros as well, and they were grinding it out. I really thought, man, they could easily get back in this game. What felt like a runaway early, they battled their way back, so it earns them nothing. It earns them nothing but an L and maybe a little bit of momentum saying, okay, like, we broke, we're off the schneid a little bit. Let's go out and continue.
To drop 2 at home.
It's brutal. It's brutal. Just brutal. And just takes the crowd right out of it in the first inning.
So, the Rangers did announce Max Scherzer will start Game 3 tomorrow.
That's probably the Astros' best chance.
Well, I mean, we saw what the Padres did to him in the playoffs last year. And obviously, if they don't get it done, if you're down 3-0 and then you've got 2 more games on the road, you're pretty much toast. It's happened a couple of times in sports history, but you're never counting on the 3-0 comeback. So
what's interesting?
You have to figure out a way, and hopefully some rust on Max Scherzer, some playoff, demons that come back, and the Astros get a chance to get back into this series.
Pretty wild when you see the lineup come out, and Evan Carter's not in it, and Robbie Grossman is in the 3-hole, and now listen, I know that there are people in the audience. Well, that's how Boch does it. He's gut and he's feel. No, he's not. He's smart because Robbie Grossman mashes left-handers, and what's his name? I just said Carter. Evan Carter is not at all. He's been terrible against lefties. So to put Grossman up in the 3-hole though was just that's analytics in a nutshell.
It's also if the Rangers lose that game, Boch is an idiot. How can you not put Carter in after what he's been doing and what he did in Game 1, and you don't put him out there? You're an absolute moron as a manager. Yeah. I mean, how many times do we hear Bob Melvin get called a moron? Oh wait, Luis Campusano, he had 4 hits yesterday. Why isn't he not behind the plate in the next game?
Sure.
Well, there's reasons for everything,
and we don't know them all.
Not always, but the Rangers now have the 2-0 series lead and have yet to lose. And just like in the Rangers game, the first inning was absolutely pivotal for the Philadelphia Phillies in Game 1 of the NLCS last night, as Kyle Schwarber takes the first pitch at the bottom of the first inning and sends it out to right field.
Murdered it.
I mean, talk about ambush. Zach Gallen, all right, I'm here in the NLCS. All right, let's just
get ahead.
Just get one. Let's get one. It's one pitch. Give me one pitch to get a strike, get over.
Schwarber's going to be taking.
Yeah.
No.
He draws a lot of walks. Everyone wants to just dip their toe into the water of the series, right?
Yeah, let's just get loose here. Let's get loose. Let's feel each other out. No.
And then I think it was the 5th pitch of the game, Bryce Harper, the birthday boy, sends out. Now, after that, the teams played to a 3-3 draw. But, 5 pitches in, you're down 2-0. It ends up being the difference in the game right there. Another hot start, a first inning. The team that, strikes first. This was the bottom of the first, but that early ups, those early runs have been very important throughout this postseason. Just it doesn't even matter to the team. It just feels like game after game, you see a team jump out early and then hold on late.
And this is what you dream of. This is what we were missing all season long. The Phillies 1 through 3 hitters, Schwarber, Turner, and Harper, combined 5 for 11 with 2 bombs, 4 runs, and 3 RBI. That's what you dream of. Those are your 3 best hitters showing up in the season's biggest game. And that's what we lacked so severely this year on the San Diego Padres, man. They look unbeatable. They really, really do. I know there's some dicey areas that they have as well, but I thought I did a lot of credit to the Diamondbacks for grinding out and scoring some runs there. They did get to Zach Wheeler a little bit, hit a
one
bomb,
swing. Geraldo Perdomo's 2-run shot in the 6th, which Wheeler has been really good early. He's had a couple of, I think, in the 6th inning bomb, or as he gets a little bit later in, he becomes a little more vulnerable to that. But he has been outstanding for now 2 straight postseasons.
And they kept their superstars at the top: Corbin Carroll, Christian Walker, Ketel Marte. 2 for 11 with 0 RBI. That's it, man. That's how you win baseball games in the postseason. It was awesome. I loved watched every second of it. It was absolutely incredible baseball yesterday. And Phillies lead 1-0, Rangers lead 2-0, and they are on a course right now. We'll see what happens, but you're going to start getting into the 3s, the 4s, and anything can happen.
Yeah, Game 2 is tonight, 5:07 TBS. Merrill Kelly on the mound for the Diamondbacks. Aaron Nola for the Phillies, and again, Phillies will have the advantage at Citizens Bank Park, having that home field again.
Place is bananas.
It really has been. It feels like a football home field advantage.
It really
more than
does.
A baseball home field advantage throughout this postseason. And credit to the Phillies fans for making it happen. I think the Padres fans did it last postseason, but Phillies fans were also doing it, and that's why that was such a intense series. Padres-Phillies was so great because both fan bases were so into it. But, it's the postseason, and even the Diamondbacks fans were filling that place up at Chase Field in the last series and making some noise. So I'd imagine – I thought they acquitted themselves pretty well. You fall behind 3-0, you give up 3 home runs. There was a good chance that game was going to get out of hand and get ugly. Instead, they buckled down. They got some runs. Actually got the tying run to the plate a couple of times late in the game. We're not able to come up with the big swing, but I think the Diamondbacks at least showed me enough to say they're not going to be intimidated coming into Game 2 tonight. They handled the environment. They battled to the end. If they can just get off to a little bit better start, maybe there's a chance that they could pull out one of these games and go back even 1-1 to Phoenix.
Who do you want to see in the World Series? What's the best matchup for you guys?
Everyone says Phillies Astros is the one that the rematch. I kind of want Phillies Rangers.
Me too.
I think I mean maybe it's a Boch thing, but I like seeing that lineup. Is a lot of fun to watch them, what they've done. They got a good mix too with, you mentioned Carter, they got the young guys, but they got some veterans, some stars, some lesser known players. I feel like the Rangers, plus I don't want to see the exact same matchup as last year.
Yeah.
I like a little bit of new blood in the World Series as well.
I don't have an issue at all with the Rangers, except for one thing that's making me root for the Astros. I'm not ready to see Austin Hedges prancing around in the World Series celebrations.
It's a tough scene.
The ALCS locker room celebration.
It's a tough scene.
I don't know that I can.
Has he gotten into any
No,
playoff
but you
game
wouldn't know
so
that
far?
because he's
Last-
being interviewed on MLB Network.
His last hit was September 17th. He's gotten an AB.
Hey guys, we need somebody to chat with MLB
I'll do
Network. Me.
I got it.
Hey, I'll do it.
Gets on my nerves. He does.
Oh, Seager, he's busy. I'll do it.
Gets on my nerves.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Like that's reason enough to not root for them.
I think that matchup, though, between those two
Oh, it'd be
teams,
fun.
I think it's really an evenly matched.
And I don't have a problem with the Diamondbacks. I don't really. It's not an NL West thing. I don't like hate the Diamondbacks. I'm not rooting for them. This Phillies team is just so damn fun.
They're fun to watch.
How can you not root for them?
like? It's hard because they knocked you out last year, And, typically
But you don't feel like there's a rivalry.
No rivalry.
The hated Phillies.
But I do think when you look at the Philly fan, right? I think they've done a good job at maybe switching the narrative from absolute battery throwing lunatics to pretty awesome.
Yo, call me when you get your phone.
Pretty awesome, fun, knowledgeable sports fans. The way that they've done it in Philly and how they've supported this team. They're just fun to watch. They're just those guys are hardcore baseball players.
I don't mind if Philly wins. I don't mind, maybe the Padres get a shot at them in the postseason next year, and you can be the one to finally take down that juggernaut. I don't really want to see another banner in Arizona. I don't want to see another banner in Arizona.
No, I don't either.
That's
another team in your division that's won a World Series, and you have
exactly.
And they've already won one. So they won two.
2001.
Yeah, one.
Yeah. And the Giants have 3 in the last decade. Dodgers have their fake one, but they also have 1988 before. You've had
just
one.
Us and the Rockies just chilling.
Yeah.
I don't want to see. I don't want to see the Diamondbacks win it. I do not want to see them win it. Phillies Rangers, I think, would be a really, really good series. And it's been fun, man. I if you haven't enjoyed these playoffs, I don't know what to tell you, man. They've been so good.
All right, raise your hand if you made the mistake of wagering some money on the Los Angeles Chargers.
Guilty as charged. I thought they were going to roll last night.
Getting some points at home, coming off a bye. Chargers defy a lot of the things you expect about football sometimes.
They really do.
Get into some Monday Night Football, play a little Take on Woods when we come back. Chance to qualify for a trip to Las Vegas. All ahead in hour number 2 of Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Week 6 of the NFL season is in the books. Welcome back, 7 a.m. Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. Producer Paul Reindl. I'm already seeing in the chat, Chargers will always find a way to lose. Well, yeah, we know this about, you knew that about the LA Chargers before you bet on them last night.
Sure.
But keep in mind, they don't go 0-17 every year. They also have this handful of games where they always look pretty good, like fairly dominant. You know, they always give you a reason every once in a while to think that they might be, maybe they're finally figuring it out this year. And I actually tended to agree with you yesterday. I thought this is the kind of game that the Chargers will get the hopes of their fan, that woman, up.
The one woman.
They'll get their fan hopes up because eventually they'll then break their fan. There she is, Charger fan. And someone behind her as well.
What was going on with this?
I don't know what was going on.
Because they showed her the entire game, it seemed like.
She's not famous, right? She's not like celebrity fan.
That was my first thought. Was, who is that? Is that an actress?
Yeah.
Could have been an actress.
Could have been a
plant.
Could have been a paid plant.
I'm seeing a lot of that online.
Would you put it past
Why
them?
is there a curtain behind her?
I don't know.
Isn't that weird? That doesn't look like a stadium. There's like and what is that?
She's in a suite, maybe? Or like a...
Maybe. I don't know.
Well, if you missed it, there was a very, very boisterous Charger fan that was like really
very emotive
type fan, and they kept going to her late in the fourth quarter. But were they going to her earlier in the game?
Yeah.
They were?
Yeah.
Every time I looked up.
Yeah.
So my plan last night was I looked at it and I went, all right, Chargers, like you said, coming off a bye, embarrassed, home game, at least in the city which they live, against the Dallas Cowboys, who are the Chargers of their division. I mean, you never know what
Get your hopes up.
Yeah, you
not
never
bad,
know.
But you ultimately disappointing and break their fans' hearts.
You never know what Dak Prescott's going to show up. You never know if the defense is going to play well. You think they might, and they probably will. And, it was a battle early, so I was flipping over as I was watching the baseball game. Let's say I flipped over 10 times. Every time I flipped over, it was a flag. Every single time. There was a flag. Flag on the play, late hit, blah, 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 whatever. And the other times I flipped over, it was Justin Herbert airmailing a wide open receiver. I must have seen that 3 times at least. He missed Keenan Allen on a throw Ben makes. I had all the time in the world to make the throw. Wide open. 6 points, easy. It overthrows him. Did it again, and then throws the pick to seal it at the end. He had a terrible night. Terrible.
He made a couple of good throws along the way as well. Ultimately, the penalties undid the Chargers. Not that the Cowboys committed double-digit penalties as well. So it wasn't just the Chargers. It was a flag fest in the game last night. The Chargers committed some really critical ones, though. There was a defensive holding on 3rd and 19. There was an offensive holding on 3rd and 1 when they were going to pick up a first down, and instead it's 3rd and 11. Just the times you cannot commit penalties. You have to know when are the times that a penalty really torpedoes you.
Yeah.
3rd and 1 on offense, you can't do a holding. You're putting yourself in 3rd and long when you had an almost impossible to miss first down. 3rd and 19 on defense, you can't commit a 5-yard holding penalty with an automatic first down there. You have to be better than that. You have to stay behind your guy, make sure he stays in front of the first down marker. It's not rocket science. And Chargers actually got lucky. They recovered that muff punt, which would never have been a muff punt had they. The guy, I felt bad for whichever Cowboys player it was. He thought maybe it had hit his team's player, so he went after it to try to recover it. And in the process of trying to dive on top of it, that's what was the touch and the muff that led to the Chargers recovering and scoring that tying touchdown. But ultimately, the Dak Prescott made a couple of really good plays. A great throw for that touchdown, the go-ahead. He ran for an 18-yard score, had one of his better games, and the Cowboys get the win. And with the loss, Chargers fall to 2-3, which doesn't sound that bad, but they're now 13th out of 16 teams in the AFC right now, just through 6 weeks of the season. They're near the bottom of the barrel. There's only 3 teams behind them in the conference standings at this point.
I saw a tweet this morning that said, I don't know what you're thinking if you're the LA Chargers right now. You have the Chiefs next.
Well, yeah, you're 2.5 games behind the Chiefs.
Yeah, and you got the Chiefs next. If you lose that game, you have to sell. You have to. The cap hit on Herbert, I think, starts next year. They've got a lot of talent. Like they should be sellers right now instead of looking to add pieces. They've added a ton of talent.
At 2-4, you can certainly still get a wild card, but if you lose and you're 3.5 games behind the Chiefs,
you're 2-5. Yeah, you're toast.
So to even have a chance in the division, you need Kansas City to lose at least 4 more times, which they might. They're not perfect, but they might not as well. And then you'd have to win every game the rest of the season.
Right.
That's not happening. You're not happening. You're not coming back from a 3.5 game deficit. So at the very best, you're starting on the road in the playoffs again if you somehow manage to get there. And we've seen, what happens when they've done that in the past. So doesn't look like it's going to be the season for the Los Angeles Chargers yet again. We need a contestant for Take on Woods, 833-288-0973. Call us now. You can battle Woods in our musical trivia game and qualify for a getaway to Las Vegas. Do that in about 3-4 minutes, but you need to call in and get in on our contestant hotline, 833-288-0973. I had to host the post-game show on Channel 10 last night, and I thought, all right, it's been almost 7 years. It'll be 7 years in January since the Chargers announced they were moving to Los Angeles. Has there been any settling of the emotions? What's going on? So I put up a poll just to see, and I asked, San Diego sports fans, do you still cheer for the team? Do you root against the team? Or you never rooted for the Chargers? A lot of people did say, I just don't watch the NFL anymore at all. I said, well, that counts basically as rooting against the Chargers. If you're rooting for the NFL to fail, you are cheering because the Chargers left. Then you are cheering against the Chargers, essentially. You may not watch them and pay attention to them, but you are spiritually cheering against the Chargers in that sense. And it really was about the same. I think I remember doing this in the year after they left. 29% still cheer for them, 55% cheer against them, and the last 16% said we never really cheered for them in the first place. So more than half of San Diego, still a majority, cheers for the Chargers to fail. And those were presumably people who cheered for them when they were here and now cheer against them. So, it's 2-1 against the Chargers still in San Diego, but also leaves about almost a third of people here still root for that team to succeed and still have their hearts broken on a consistent basis. I don't know, is it a coaching thing again? Is it time for Brandon Staley to go? I'm not going to get into the weeds on that because I think it's more of an organizational problem, obviously. With the Chargers, they can hire all the coaches they want. Don't think it's going to change much about that franchise and turn them into winners all of a sudden. Part of the problem is, they're playing 17 road games.
They are.
It's at best, you're kind of in a neutral environment at home. But most of the time when you take on the Cowboys or the Raiders or the Broncos or the Chiefs or whoever, you're going to be outnumbered by visiting fans in your own stadium. And
and you were last night.
And when it comes to a football game, that makes a legitimate difference. There's a real, 3-point swing when you're the road team. And when you're not getting that 7 times a year, that's a 21-point or 24-point difference over 8 games that you're not getting. In a close sport, in games that come down to the final possession, that's going to cost you 2 or 3 wins probably over the course of a year, every single year. How can you possibly compete in a league when you don't get those 2 or 3 wins every year because you have no home games? It's impossible. It's impossible. The Chargers would have to be so much better than any other team to ever get a top seed or a bye. They're relying on essentially a miracle, get in as a wild card, and then go on a miracle playoff run at some point. Because I don't see them winning divisions. I don't see them winning, home games enough over the course of the season to ever really be a top team in the AFC.
LA is just such a weird football market. It's just it always has been. It was when we were kids, Ben. And it's just an odd football market. And there's still so many Raider fans there. And you wonder if they followed the team to Las Vegas. You wonder if the
more did than Chargers fans.
And you wonder if the Rams have really cut through. And I know they won there.
But even their games seem a little iffy, especially when it's a big time opponent coming into SoFi.
It's as somebody that didn't grow up here or have any emotional connection to the San Diego Chargers as a sports radio host, I would love if we had a football team here, even if it was them. If they came back, I'd be elated because it would give us something else to talk about. But I also thank God that we don't have to come in here today and be like, what's Brandon Staley doing? What's wrong with Justin Herbert?
Yeah, I don't really care.
What's with the penalties? We'd be roasting this team if we really were connected to them.
Yeah.
If you're really still connected as a Charger fan, you have to be miserable with how this thing has turned out. You have to be miserable. And last night
it's everything that was bad when they were here.
Yeah.
And now
they're
worse
in LA.
because they're up in LA.
That's exactly right.
All right, we got a contestant on the line. It is 7:10. Woods, off you go. Let's play some Take on Woods. All right, we got Jerry on the line. Jerry, welcome to Take on Woods. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
All right.
Doing good.
You're the contestant today. Woods has left the studio. You get to go first. I will give you 5 questions, musical trivia. Then Woods will come back at the same 5 questions. If you beat or tie him, we will put you in our grand prize drawing for a trip for 2 to the Westgate, Las Vegas, tickets to Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons at the International Theater. You can get your own VIP packages and tickets at Ticketmaster.com. But you can win them right now, and you get to pick our category, give you a little advantage. Jerry, here are your choices. Got the mystery category. Don't say much about that one, but it's always fun. Mamma Mia, that is 5 songs with the word mama in the title. Or Let's Get Into It. This one is 5 song titles that feature the word into. It's kind of a weird one. All right, Jerry, what would you like? The mystery category, Mamma Mia, or Let's Get Into It?
Mystery category.
Mystery category. All right, it's back. The mystery category. We'll play our 2-second song first. If you can give me the title and the artist, that'll give you a big clue as to the rest of the questions. If you ever want to say pass, we can come back to that question at the end. You'll have 60 seconds, and then Woods will come in. So, Jerry, get ready to go. This is, I think, kind of a tough one, but we'll see how it goes. 60 seconds on the clock. Remember, when Paul plays the music, you need to try to give me the title and the artist to score that point, and we'll go on from there. Paul, you ready?
I'm ready.
Jerry, are you ready?
Yes.
All right, the mystery category, 60 seconds on the clock. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Jerry. Let's take on Woods.
Pass.
All right, New Jersey brothers Robert and Ronald Bell were 2 of the founding members of which jungle boogie band?
The Monkeys.
Incorrect. James Todd Smith is the given name for which rapper known for hits including Mama Said Knock You Out?
Oh, man.
You want to pass?
Yeah, pass.
All right, which 1979 hit with a 2-word title by Little River Band was voted as one of Australia's top 30 songs of all time?
Credence, I don't know.
Which rapper's 1994 debut album included the lyrics "Slide, slide, slippity slide, I'm hitting switches on the block in a 65"? That's not going to do it, Jerry. That's all right. I knew it was a tough category.
Thanks
We'll
for
see.
playing.
Let's see how Woods does on this one. I'm going to leave the answers
You
floating in the
gotta
mist.
get the song.
Yeah,
to
that,
get
I mean,
the
that would have
theme.
helped. It would have helped. It was a tough song, I think.
Yes.
I don't know that Woods will get it. We'll see. All right, he comes back. Jerry is done. Woods is up. Put our 60 seconds back on the clock. Play along at home. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Woods. Let's take on Jerry.
Pass.
New Jersey brothers Robert and Ronald Bell were 2 of the founding members of which jungle boogie band?
Cool in the game?
Correct. James Todd Smith is the given name for which rapper known for hits including Mama Said Knock You Out?
LL Cool J.
Correct. Which 1979 hit with a 2-word title by Little River Band was voted as one of Australia's top 30 songs of all time?
Pass.
Which rapper's 1994 debut album included the lyrics "Slide, slide, slippity slide, I'm hitting switches"?
Coolio.
Correct. Go back to our 2-second song.
It's Gwen Stefani. Cool.
Correct. Which 1979 hit with a 2-word title by Little River Band was voted as one of Australia's top 30 songs of all time?
Something cool. Cool. Cool breeze.
Cool change.
Cool
But you did get 4, and you win on a shutout, 4-0 today. That was tough. That was the mystery category.
That was tough.
Cool was the key word. So if you got the Gwen Stefani song, which was not an easy one.
That's a jam,
for
though.
2-second songs. But it revealed that cool was in all the answers today in our mystery category. But another win for Woods, who's on a nice little roll.
What was it? Cool breeze?
Cool Change.
Cool Change.
By Little River Band, yeah. Well, I didn't even know it was Australia. They don't sound Australian to
really
me,
don't.
But they were formed in Melbourne, Australia. Reminiscing, Cool Change, yeah. They do not sound. They don't sound like Aussies. I'll say that.
Night. Crocky.
Cheers, mates. I sound more Aussie than they do.
You really do. It's weird how people like
maybe they were Americans who just lived in Australia.
It's
or
weird
something.
how like people with British accents when they sing that you don't hear it really. You know what I mean? Like
sometimes you do. There are some bands that sound British.
Our house in the middle of our street. Like that's I get it. But most of the time,
it's been a hard day's night. I mean, the Beatles sound British to me.
Do they?
I think so.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I'm trying. Maybe Paul does and John doesn't. I don't know.
No.
I read the news today. Oh,
that's
boy.
very British.
Is
to
it?
Me. I think so.
Interesting. Play us off of some Gwen.
Oh yeah.
Love that song.
All right, we got Don't Do This coming up next. We always have to include the Don't Do This Hall of Famer anytime he appears in Don't Do
Does
This.
it say B?
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
always fails to, or never fails to give us a great Don't Do This story at least once every couple weeks.
If Mount Rushmore of Don't Do This, it's just his face.
It
4
really
times.
is.
Yeah.
4 times.
4 times.
See what's up next with AB on San Diego's #1 sports station after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. The Upper Hand Fantasy Podcast brings you the latest news and player insights to help you win and avoid any embarrassing league punishments, in-depth analysis, start-sit questions, everything you need for your fantasy team. Download Upper Hand Fantasy on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts. All right, it's time for the Hall of Famer of Don't Do This, the one face on Mount Rushmore. Woods, take it away.
Antonio Brown, once again, is making an appearance on Don't Do This. According to an incident report obtained by TMZ Sports, Ben, he was arrested Sunday outside of his home in Florida while getting into a taxi cab. And the reason he was arrested because his ex-girlfriend, Wiltrice Jackson, called the police and said he has not paid child support in a while. He is $31,000 in arrears in his
great word.
Arrears in his child support payment. So he did get arrested. I think he bonded out and then went right to Instagram Live and was showing everyone how rich he is in his beautiful home. And he's a lawyer's nightmare. It's like, hey man, you can't cry hardship and not pay your bills. That's the thing with him. He does not like to pay his bills. He did the woman came over and painted the big mural, and instead of just paying her, he assaulted her and then didn't pay as well. Pay your bills. Your life will be so much easier. Also, take care of your children. Take care of your children. If you have payments due, pay them or work something out. But you can't just ignore the payments.
Even if you're not a big fan anymore of the woman who mothered your child, still your child.
It's your child. He didn't ask for this, right? You did this. Be responsible. Pay your child support. Please, AB.
I think this Don't Do This is a little debatable on both sides. But I saw this story. Lakers legend Michael Cooper. Got to see him in Winning Time. He was one of the characters.
It was great.
He actually ripped into LeBron James from last Friday's preseason game against the Warriors. So LeBron played the first half, and then they weren't going to put him in the second half, so he changed at halftime, went into street clothes, and sat on the bench with his teammates. But during the game, cameras caught him eating. Looked like a lean cuisine. It was just like that little black little tray thing. He had a fork, and it's just a few seconds. You caught him. He was just eating. He had the towel on his head. He was kind of shoveling in some food in the second half. And Coop said on the Showtime podcast, I didn't like it. I didn't like that. Again, he's
in
LeBron.
A preseason
he's
game.
LeBron James, but still, you got to have respect for the game, man. Man, he's sitting over there. I didn't mind the guy eating, but go eat in the locker room. Then when you come out, be part of the team, not just sit at the end of the bench eating.
That man has been in 9 NBA finals.
It's
all-time scoring leader. He's on his 21st season in the league.
You got to fuel your body. And it's all right, number one, Coop. It's the old head, it's the old head against the I mean, LeBron's an old head now. He's been in the league for 100 years. My man.
I mean, have you ever seen an NBA player eat like a meal? It was in a tray, and he had a fork. It wasn't like a quick an energy bar or an apple or something.
I respect it. That man's trying to take care of his body to continue to play. It's a preseason game. If he was eating a hot dog,
he's there for his teammates.
If he was eating a hot dog,
yeah. like the concession guy comes behind him, he goes, I'll have one. I'll have one. Oh, can I get a popcorn too?
They're passing it down the bench.
Eating cheddar and sour cream ruffles,
spilling crumbs all over the court,
sucking on Twizzlers. Like, I get it. Like, if the man's fueling up with some beef and broccoli.
Sorry, man. I dropped my Skittles all over the court.
There are elite athletes. You see it all the time. They carry their food with them. They'll eat it when they have to eat.
PGA Tour players will eat like 3 times during the round. Yeah. They eat a ton while they're playing.
I've seen Tiger Woods eating a sandwich in the middle of a round. Like, it happens. Cooper.
So Coop kind of gets the don't do this for calling out LeBron for a preseason game.
And I honestly think LeBron, and I'm not a huge LeBron guy, LeBron is above the fray. He's above criticism for anything really.
Whatever he does, other players are going to start doing. So we're now going to see lots of eating on the bench.
They put a Chinese buffet behind it, and guys are going through the line, just loading up their plate with orange chicken. Like, he's fueling up. He just finished. He needs to. You're
Did you
supposed
catch
to
a game last night?
They They have carving guy behind them.
Have you tried the lasagna? It's my favorite.
Man, I'm right in the middle of a basketball game, but it does
Did you
smell
catch
good.
the game last night? We're playing the game right now.
Yeah.
The game's on
Is
right
it still hot out there?
It is. It is hot. I've been running all night. I'm starving.
All right.
All right. Yeah, slice me off a little piece there. A carving guy behind the bench would be maybe the greatest thing of all
Do you
time.
like hot fudge sundaes?
No, I do, but not while I'm playing. I just want to. I need something a little healthier. If you have it,
It's just a 30-second timeout.
it's 30-second timeout. I can't eat a whole hot fudge sundae.
Sunday
All
bar.
right.
Hit me with that whipped cream though, real quick. Cooper needs to relax. If LeBron wants to eat on the bench, again, it's not like he's got a pizza on his lap, dude. Pull it up, fold it up a piece. He can refuel on the bench. The other thing too, he said was go in the locker room. If he left to go in the locker room, I think I'd have a bigger problem with that.
He wanted to be out there for the guys.
Man.
And he was hungry at the same time.
All right, here's do this.
DD Mega Doo-Doo.
Actually, the do this should be having a carving guy behind the Lakers bench all season. Guaranteed championship. Guaranteed. But I came across this yesterday. I had not seen it yet. The post-game speech from Colorado's absolutely mortifying 29-point lead that they blew. This was Deion's message to his team, and I loved it.
You're not going to be taken care of. You're not going to be looked after. You're not going to have the luxuries of all this. And you're going to have to go out there and get it on your own and work your butt off. Because ain't nobody going to give you nothing. I don't understand. I don't think you understand what this world consists of. What we just did today was pathetic.
The creakiest floor ever.
All the love that you received, all the love that we received, oh, you getting ready to see that flip. And don't get beside yourself on social media and start responding to the foolishness because they're right.
They're right.
They're right. And we practicing tomorrow.
It's unbelievable, dude. And we're practicing tomorrow.
On Saturday.
After that debacle of a game. Man, you can say what you want. The guy is he commands the room. All the love we got, all the love you got, you're about to see it flip. It's coming, and it's genius, and it did, and it has, and I, again, give that man a couple years. If he stays there, the rumor, a lot of people say, well, when Shedeur gets drafted, he's gone. Okay, I mean, and that wouldn't be the first time that happened in college football, certainly, but I'd love to see him stay 5-6 years and see what he can really, really do, recruiting and everything else, because, man, I love his messages to his team. That's as good as it gets.
What's impressed me about Deion is I thought he handled the early success really well.
Same.
I mean, leaning into it and using it to fuel some attention to his program, but never taking it too far in my mind. He still made it about the team. He's got his brand as well, but I thought he handled it well. But he handles failure really well,
Very
too.
well.
Every time. They've lost 3 times, and I've been very impressed with how he's handled it every single time. Guy's got a good head on his shoulders.
He really does, man. He is. He made a fan out of me for sure.
Yeah, and that's don't and do this for a Tuesday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, we have Matt Vasgersian joining us coming up next hour. If you want to talk some baseball, we can open the phone lines, 833-288-0973. The Padres offseason is just getting started. It's been very quiet, Padresville, lately. But they're going to have to start making some decisions fairly soon here on, contract extensions or options that need to be
Qualifying
picked
offers
up.
and
Things.
whatnot.
Yeah, the process is going to start. Plus, there's still some people who don't think Bob Melvin's going to be back as manager of the Padres next season.
I do keep seeing that.
It's not done yet.
But it's not just fan speak.
No. Yeah.
This is a really respected writer.
We'll talk about that coming up next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Just can't quite quash those rumors about Bob Melvin out there. Welcome back. It's Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan, 740 on a Tuesday morning. I missed this on Friday. You were in Vegas, and Paulie and I were doing the show. But Andrew Baggerly, who covers the San Francisco Giants for The Athletic, did a kind of a off-season piece, 10 things that the Giants need to do this off-season. And number one, obviously, was, make the right hire as their new manager. And, one of the names that he brought up that he seriously considers going to be an interesting one for Padres fans. I want to get into that. Let's first check traffic, and we'll be right back here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
We're seeing some improvements on our roads. Car fires cleared up on northbound 805 at the North 15 connector, and speeds are getting back to normal westbound King Freeway heading into downtown. They cleared that crash near the 15. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So there still seems to be, not just among skeptical Padres fans or even Woods, who's entertained this theory a couple of times.
I don't know what happened to me. I'm full tinfoil hat guy now.
But even though, Peter Seidler released the statement saying he has, backs leadership and wants essentially A.J. Preller and Bob Melvin back. And then A.J. Preller came on and said Bob Melvin's coming back. And then Bob Melvin talked to Bernie Wilson of the Associated Press and said, I'm excited about coming back next year. There still seems to be this thought that the Padres manager could be going elsewhere, specifically to the San Francisco Giants this offseason. And Baggerly wrote in his piece that he's hearing that, the Padres situation isn't as settled as a news release might make it seem. And there's still a possibility that he could be given permission by the Padres to potentially interview for another job in San Francisco.
And everybody asked AJ that same question on the Zoom, and the answer was not one that bred a lot of confidence. It wasn't, absolutely not. Bob's our manager. It was, hem-haw. He's under contract, and, we don't discuss terms of contracts and things like that. It's a really easy rumor to quash. I mean, it's simple. Absolutely not. Bob Melvin's managing the Padres in 2024. That's it. And no one will, come right out and say that. Bob himself hasn't said, I will 100% be the manager of the San Diego Padres. Now, again, we haven't seen Bob. We haven't talked to Bob. Bob's doing his own thing. It's the off season. It's no big deal. He doesn't need to be doing pressers every day. But, I'm leaning more towards Bob Melvin coming back, Ben, for next year and next year only. But look, nothing that this organization does surprises me. Nothing. I would not be surprised in the slightest.
So here's what Baggerly wrote. It says, Melvin, a Menlo Atherton High School alum and 3-time manager of the year in Arizona and Oakland, also presumably would be open to a return to the Bay Area, despite the San Diego Padres' pronouncement that they would retain him to serve out the final year on his contract. Here's the quiet part out loud. Makes little sense for the Padres to fire Melvin and pay out his roughly $4 million salary when another team could hire him away and relieve them of that obligation. Padres would also be within their rights to ask for compensation from a National League West rival if the Giants request permission to speak to Melvin. Hey, a player has been traded for a manager before.
Sure.
The Tampa Bay Rays once sent Randy Wynn to the Mariners so they could hire manager Lou Piniella away from them.
God. Oh, God, I totally
remember
erased
that?
that from my memory.
Yep.
That was like, what? Sweet Lou. He was the best.
Yeah.
I loved Lou Piniella as the manager of the Mariners. And then, it was like 2003 or 2004.
Randy Wynn wasn't a bad player, though.
It wasn't terrible.
So, is that a realistic possibility?
Or is it just a beat reporter throwing stuff at the wall?
I do think, and I've been as solid as on Bob Melvin coming back as anyone. If the Giants really offered a player, like a player that the Padres wanted, either a top prospect, someone who could contribute right now, and they're not willing to extend Bob Melvin, and Bob Melvin expressed interest, then I could see it still happening.
Sure.
I could. I mean, you'd be kind of crazy not to consider that. When you get a lame duck manager, you're not sure you want to extend him right now. You're not sure if he's going to retire after next year. And Bob's been a little on the fence on that. I mean, he originally said 3 years and then I'm done, and then he kind of said I might be willing to go longer. you would be dumb not to consider it. If another team is willing to offer someone for your manager, then yes, I would listen. So
especially if there's issues, and especially if there's headbutting, and especially if they're not getting along, and especially if it's I saw it framed recently as what's the phrase I was looking for? They have agreed, like, quick handshake. Yeah, okay, fine. Let's let bygones be bygones. Not a real symbiotic relationship, as I think everybody knows. So I think you'd be right to consider it. I think you'd have to at least look at it. But I also expect, Bob Melvin is a really, really big name, and I expect you would get something big in return. But
what I don't think, though, and I know there's some fans out there who do think this, I don't think that this is the plan. Like, AJ Preller's plot is to get, Bob Melvin, get out from under the $4 million, get him to go somewhere else, slowly push him out the door and make it uncomfortable for him so he leaves. That can't possibly be the plan, because think it through. This is how I always like to play this game. Think it through. There's no guarantee that anyone's going to hire Bob Melvin. He'd probably be an interesting candidate, but first of all, the Giants are in a bit of a flux anyway. Farhan Zaidi's got 1 year left on his deal, and if it doesn't go well, they may blow things up in 1 year anyway. So it's not the most coveted job anywhere. It's not like job security. Bob Melvin might not even want to go there. So are you really saying that after every manager position is filled, let's say the Giants hire someone else, the Mets hire someone else, no one interviews Bob Melvin, Padres will go, you got us. All right, now, Bob, you're fired. We were hoping that you would leave.
No.
They can't do that, because that would first of all, it would leave you without a manager. After everyone's been interviewed, you get the last pick, the bottom of the barrel to pick a new manager. It would be extremely humiliating and insulting and look horrible for your organization, for AJ Preller, for Peter Seidler to do that to someone of Bob Melvin's reputation and caliber, someone who is still well respected and liked by his players. They'd look at that and they'd think you're a joke.
Yeah.
If you waited 4 weeks and finally when everyone was hired, you said, I guess we're going to have to fire him now. No one's taking him off our hands. We were just trying to save the $4 million. There's no way you can do that and save any face. I
don't think that would happen.
That's not the plan at all.
No.
The plan is for Bob Melvin to be the manager of the Padres in 2024. That is the plan. Are you open if someone comes and says, we'd really like to hire Bob, and we will offer you, the number 2 ranked prospect in our system, who I know you really like. You've asked for him about him in trades before. Then yes, you would be crazy not to consider that if someone asked you about Bob Melvin and said they'd be willing to give up a player, an actual player on the field who has the chance to impact games way more than a manager, I think, ever will.
I just don't put anything past the San Diego Padres right now. That's kind of where I'm at. I just don't. There's just too much smoke about interpersonal relationships. There's too much smoke about and I saw people talking about it a little bit yesterday online, the term micromanager and things like that. There's a lot that can be said about that organization, Ben. It's chaotic at times. It's chaotic. And there are people, I know for a fact, there are people in the front office that players don't like being around. That's a fact. And Bob Melvin's not one of them. But the other people are. This other person is there. And players don't like being around this person, but that person continues to be employed. And I asked AJ Preller about that person. And it's just a really weird scene that's going on down at Petco Park. And they're quiet right now because, it's the playoffs. They don't have to do anything right now, but you're seeing other teams interview and start their process of maybe some internal candidates. I agree with you 100%. I don't think the plan is, let's see how this plays out and then can Bob. That's not going to happen. I would say with almost 100%, assuredness that that's not going to happen. The San Francisco thing is very real, in my opinion. I think it's very, very real. I don't think Andrew Baggerly would write about it if it wasn't still a possibility. And so, will we know more in a couple of weeks when the World Series wraps up? Yeah, I think we will. And we'll see what happens. And if it's business as usual and this guy's been released or we've signed this guy or we're trading for him, fine. You feel a little bit better about Bob coming back, but the fact that Baggerly wrote that on Friday made me go, interesting. It's hard for me to wrap my head around really anything.
Baggerly's a good writer and a good reporter.
He's very well
I don't think he's
respected.
going to say that without, nothing behind it. I think, Bob Melvin's the one. He could make this difficult for the Padres because if he really wanted to go, it'd be similar to when Bruce Bochy left for the Giants. He had 1 year left on his deal. The Padres weren't interested in extending him, and the opportunity presented itself, and he goes, I think Boch was very fair when he said, hey, you guys don't want to extend me. They're willing to give me a 3 or 4 year deal. Just out of fairness to me and my career,
let me go.
Let me go. And if Bob pushed that and the Giants were willing to hire him, it'd be tough for the Padres to say, no, you can't go. You have to serve out the last year of your. Hey, you signed it. They'd be within their rights, but it also would be a tough look because especially the way they got Bob Melvin, stealing him from the Oakland A's, who didn't really ask for anything. They respected Bob enough that they said, we know where we're heading. We're trying to move the team to Vegas.
We don't want to put Bob through
We're
this.
going to lose hundreds of games. We're not putting any money into our product. We respect him enough. We just let him go with no compensation to the Padres. Would the Padres feel obligated to do the same thing to the Giants? I doubt it. It's not. They weren't a division rival.
It's wild that
I think you'd have to ask for something in return from the Giants.
It's wild that relationship is fractured as much as it has over the last 2 years. That's wild to me.
The Bob Melvin AJ Preller relationship?
It's wild.
Was it ever that solid? That's my question. I don't know the answer to it, but my question is, when Bob Melvin was originally hired, obviously AJ Preller had to at some point make that decision. Now, how much was Peter Seidler and other management involved in saying, hey, we really like Bob Melvin? When your owner says, hey, we've interviewed a bunch of candidates, but I really like, Bob Melvin's available. I think we should go after him. It's hard for a GM to go, no, I don't like that idea.
I disagree.
AJ did have to put in some work and, with the A's to make that happen. It wasn't nothing to get it done. He got it done. He got him there. But was he always 100% on Bob Melvin's team at the beginning? Was Bob Melvin always 100% on AJ Preller's team? Or was he hey, anything gets me out of Oakland right now
I'll take it.
Brilliant. And look at that roster, Manny, Tatis, all the players that the Padres had right there. I'm sure it looked like heaven compared to Oakland at that moment. Anyone would go, yeah, I can work with AJ. I can do this. We may not see eye to eye, but I'll make it work. And they did. The first year they went to the NLCS. And it's when they started losing, well, all of a sudden those disagreements that were probably there from the beginning take on those cracks look a lot bigger when the losing starts in the second season.
I do agree that it's still something to monitor. It is. I'm not super worried about it like I was. When Bob didn't show up on the press conference, the Zoom, that I was pretty domed at that point. It felt a little better when Bernie got in touch with him and said, "No,
it was very weird.
It was very weird. I'm coming back. I'm excited to come back."
We still haven't heard from Bob Melvin.
It's wild. And just so you guys know, in full transparency, we've asked for him every week. Just so you guys know, we've asked every week to have Bob Melvin on. I want to hear it from him. Guys, you're being idiots.
I understand he wants to get away for a couple of weeks. The last thing he wants is to jump right back in at the end of the season.
Especially after that season.
Yeah, everyone needs to clear their head a little bit, and I respect that Bob Melvin wants to do that. But at some point, if he really wants to just end the talk and make it 100% clear he has no interest in anything else, the Padres have no interest in letting him go anywhere else, would do a world of good to have him come on this show and talk about it with us and everything that's transpired over the last few weeks, the entire process. I always believe in transparency is a good thing for everyone. It can be a little painful at the beginning. Lay your stuff bare, behind the scenes is not easy, but in the end, I think you're always better off being as transparent as you possibly can.
Yeah, and, again, we'll see when the World Series is over, because baseball does not like you doing a lot of big, splashy things in the middle of their, to take away from their playoffs, and that's pretty standard. So when the World Series is over, I think that's when it will be, time to get down to business. And at that point, you want to hear, now it's time to turn the page. The season's over. the page is turned, the slate is now clean, everybody's 0-0, and we're looking ahead to 2024. That's when you need to hear from the skipper in the after the last out is recorded, like the next day. All right. Excited for spring training. I'm here. This is what we're doing. The lame duck manager thing always fascinates me, though, because nobody wants to go into that situation. Unless you're like, hey, this is my last year. I don't care. I'm going to go play golf and do whatever after it's over. But if he really wants to stick around and manage, do you want that guy managing under the 1 year deal? You know, we asked AJ about that too. He didn't really answer that. AJ has how many years left on his deal? 2?
3.
3 years.
Through 2026, I believe.
Yeah, let's go. Prove you're in. I'll sign one till the end of your deal. We're in this thing together. It's wild.
All right, we are halfway home on a Tuesday.
Not yet, almost.
Almost. Well, in like 20 seconds, we're halfway home on a Tuesday.
About 5 minutes.
Well, all right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be doing a lot in the next 5 minutes. We'll be back at 8 o'clock. It's a Padres birthday day. Shout out to a birthday boy in the Padres family. Coming up, we got Matt Vasgersian at 8:35. Don't go anywhere on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Now we are halfway home on a Tuesday. Ben and Woods, 97.3, The Fan. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, the executive producer. And to my left, Benjamin Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor. It is a birthday shout-out day. First of all, our beloved Ha-Sung Kim.
Ha-Sung King.
Ha-Sung King. Ha-Sung Kim.
The big 2-8 today.
2-8.
For Ha-Sung Kim.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. What a season that young man had last year. A fan favorite here in San Diego. And yet, another person you're going to have to figure out how you keep here in San Diego.
1 year left on his deal.
1 year left.
Now, 28
He's a lame duck player.
28 years old, so still in his prime.
Yeah.
If he doesn't sign a contract extension, he will be going into his year 29 age as a free agent. Still, worthy of probably a nice long-term deal somewhere the free agent market next year.
Can play 3 infield positions very well. Second, short, third. Yeah, that's a guy that you want here for a long time. But at what cost? What could you get back for him? These are all the conversations that are going on.
I mean, if you are a big believer in the WAR statistic, especially the B-WAR statistic, one of the more valuable players in all of baseball
Very
last
much
season.
so.
And I'm sure there are plenty of general managers who do believe in that statistic and thinks that, I've put enough of those good B-WAR players on my field, I should have a World Series contender. So I think there will be no shortage of interest in Ha-Sung Kim if he hits the open market 1 year hence.
I couldn't agree more, Benjamin. So happy birthday to our beloved Prince, Ha-Sung Kim. Paulie played that. Now I want to say Ha-Sung King.
Ha-Sung King.
It's Ha-Sung Kim.
Yeah.
Ha-Sung King. Also, my beloved mother-in-law. It's her birthday today. So happy birthday, Susie. Love you very
also,
much.
28 years old today.
28 years old in perpetuity. Sweet, sweet angel. She didn't like me at first because I was older. But she likes me now, loves me now. And I'm now up for I hope she's not listening because I told you guys at the break what I did last night. And more importantly, what I didn't do.
Yeah.
You're a monster.
Yeah. I am up for the dad. I was just yelling at Antonio Brown for not paying his child support. Well, what about leaving your child in a chair to sleep in all night? And apparently that's what I did last night. So the way it works in our house, when it's bedtime, Hannah always takes Taylor first, takes him to his room. They sit in this beautiful rocking chair. She reads him a book. Then she leaves him in his sleep sack in the chair for Dad to come in. I'm taking Bo.
Wait, sleep sack?
Yeah, it's a sleep sack.
Like a sleeping bag?
No, it like clips here, and it keeps them all cozy, and they can't kick their feet around. It's good for kids to sleep in.
Yeah, I thought that was more for babies. He's bigger than a baby.
2, but yeah, he still sleeps in one.
Does Bo sleep in one still? Okay.
So I take Bo to bed, put him down, talk to him for a while, rub his back, give him a kiss goodnight, and then we switch. Hannah goes into Bo's room. I go into Taylor's room. I pick him up off the chair, give him a cuddle, open the window, let him look outside, the whole bit, lay him down, give him a kiss goodnight. And
Good night, moon.
We're on
Good night, stars.
Yeah, then we're on our way. Well, apparently last night, wires got crossed, and I never went into Taylor's room. And he slept in his chair, in his rocking chair. Hannah goes, you forgot to go into Taylor's room.
Oh, my God.
Is it at least, now, I remember we used to have a rocking chair
comfy.
when I was a kid.
It's plush.
It was wood slats and everything.
No,
Okay, it's a plush, comfy rocking chair.
But he knows how to walk. He could have gotten
he's
up.
in a sleep sack.
But he can walk in it.
He can walk in a sleep sack.
Yeah, it's dicey. It's like walking in a burlap bag, but he can do it. And I left him in there last night.
Sack race to get to bed.
I can't even believe it. And the dude, instead of getting up and be like, Dada or Mama, he just slept in his chair. And so I left him there. Hannah goes, he is a little worse for wear this morning. I'm not taking him to school, so I'm going to take him to work. So now, when I leave here, I have to go pick him up because I left him. He slept. I let my son sleep in a chair.
In a sack in a chair.
Sack in a chair. Very well done, Dad. It's unbelievable.
Do you remember to feed him or anything last night?
He ate.
Okay,
he
good.
ate.
All right.
He got everything he needed and just didn't get Dad coming in to actually put him down into his crib.
Now I worry you're the dad who leaves his kid in the car seat in the back on the hot day.
Never.
You always remember to check, right?
Always remember. Always remember. I mean, I am
safety issue.
I couldn't believe it when she told me. I go, what? Now it's happened before where I'm like, oh, like 20 minutes has gone by. If I was in there with Bo for a long time and he's just sitting there quietly, I never went in. I just never went in last night. Like you
didn't feel an emptiness in your heart?
No.
Like I didn't say goodnight to one of my, let me count, 2 children. You definitely said a goodnight to Bo.
Well, we had so many issues with Bo that night.
Right.
It was like, it had zapped me of all my thought.
All the third degree you were putting him through to determine if he was lying at school.
Jeff says in the chat, Woods, this was sleep sacrilegious.
Sleep sacrilegious. It was. It absolutely was. I cannot believe I did that. So
what's wrong with you?
I don't know. It's a lot.
I mean, I get it.
Manage.
I've never understood, people out there who have like 7 or 8 kids and
I mean, I would
keeping
literally
track of
lose
all
one.
of them.
I would lose
it's
one.
just
Like Phillip Rivers, how does he do it?
I have no idea. But you get 2. I mean, that seems like a manageable amount.
You turn out that many, you got to hope that the older kids
start
just start
taking care of the younger ones,
right?
Good Lord.
Never got that.
Beating myself up now. The poor little guy slept in a chair.
Don't worry, Dad, I got it.
He'll do it again in college.
Impressed though, there was no fussing or
not
anything.
a word.
Yeah.
Maybe he actually enjoyed it because he had to
I've
sleep.
slept
in, his
in
crib.
many a chair. In
I
my
know
life.
you have. But that was not the text I was expecting to get this morning.
All right. Well, I mean, still a couple of months to go before the Dad of the Year race is announced. This will definitely points against you.
Yeah.
Gonna hurt, but you can make it up.
It is the postseason, though. These stats don't count towards
that's a good point.
Dad of the Year awards.
I'm much better in regular season than in postseason. I'm not the postseason performer.
You can't just throw money at it and hope that your son goes to sleep.
It's getting near. It's getting near the end of the year. You get a little tired. You get a little run down. But I do apologize to my son Taylor.
We get an off day in the American League Championship Series. Game 2 of the NLCS is tonight. Another 5:07 start from Citizens Bank Park, and the Diamondbacks can only hope that things don't get off to the same start as they did yesterday. They went quietly in the top of the first inning. And then, obviously, the last thing they want is that already electric, hyped-up crowd in Philadelphia to, get into it anymore. So you're hoping, okay, can we get through maybe an inning or 2, just keep them quiet for a minute, give us a chance to, get going, get into the game a little bit, dip our toe into the water of the National League Championship Series, so to speak. I mean, they were just here last year. They've been to the World Series. This is our first NLCS since, when was the last time the Diamondbacks were in the NLCS? I know the Rangers hadn't been in one since 2011 in the ALCS.
2001?
Was it? Have they even been in since then? I mean, it's been a while since the Diamondbacks have gotten to this point. So I totally understand. It's bottom of the first. Zach Gallen's out there. All right, let's
got our ace on the bump.
Yeah, I mean, let's get comfortable out here. Let's get one in there, get started.
Yeah,
get this series underway.
I'm going to lay one in. I'm just going to throw a heater.
Game 1.
I'm going to throw a heater. I'm going to get ahead. Schwarber has not had a good postseason. I'm going to get ahead of him.
Right. Here's what it sounded like on the Arizona Diamondbacks radio network last night.
To get a little base hit, try to steal second base. They're trying to get one run on the board real quick.
And his first pitch is hit to right. 1-0 Philadelphia. What I just say.
That is not the way you're looking to start the series.
The old ambush gets you every time as a pitcher.
They're not looking for a little single and steal second. They want to get on the board right away.
Try to steal second base. They're trying to get one run on the board real quick.
And his first pitch is hit to right. 1-0 Philadelphia.
I mean, it just left the bat. He's a 1-0 Philadelphia.
I mean, it wasn't hit quite as well as that one at Petco Park last year by Schwarber.
Pretty well.
I was sitting out in the auxiliary media box by the Western Metal Supply Company. Still, I've never even. I mean, that ball that he hit last year.
Scalded.
I've never seen anything like that.
No, scalded.
I saw Barry Bonds hit one off the scoreboard at Qualcomm Stadium.
That's a tank.
That was a tank, and this was a tank. I mean, 2 of the greatest tanks I've seen in person. Right there, left-handers in San Diego. God. Unbelievable. That one wasn't quite as far, but it's pretty far. Pretty far on the first pitch of the game.
The old ambush will get you, man. Look, now if you're Merrill Kelly tonight and you go out and you go, well, I can't just lay one in
I'm
there.
I'm expecting ball 1 to Kyle Schwarber tonight.
100%.
It's such a mixed thing, though, because when you're a batter and you're looking, okay, I'm going to swing first pitch, look for my pitch. You can do almost everything right, and you get just under it, and you pop it up.
Pop it up.
God, one pitch, one out to start the game that's like a dream for Zach Gallen to get into the ALCS and go, all right, I already got one out, one pitch. I am, that just you lock you in right away. So you gotta be on it if you're gonna go after that first pitch, because you making an out's not the worst thing.
No,
but yeah, you want to see, if you're the leadoff hitter, I'd love to see 7-8 pitches. Get them worn out. Let my guys behind see the pitcher a little bit.
Yep.
That's so going after the first pitch as the leadoff hitter of the game is a choice, and one that can have consequences either way. But absolutely, it had really good consequences for the Phillies.
There was a moment in the Astros game when Michael Brantley came up and he worked it to 3-0, and I thought, oh my God, he's going to hack here. Now the pitch was not close, so he didn't. But, listen, I really, you have to take those calculated risks, especially if you're struggling. If you're Kyle Schwarber right now, and you almost know with 100%, I'd say a 98% certainty, Zach Gallen is throwing a heater, and it's going to be up in the zone. I need to put a good swing on it. He went up there in the on-deck circle going, I'm ambushing this dude. I'm going to ambush him, period, the end. It's not something he decided at the last second. He knew, I got to get this thing going. Let's light this place on fire. He put a brilliant swing on it, and that ball went a ton, and 1-0, just like that, drop of a hat.
Almost certainly had an impact on Harper's home run, and maybe even Castellanos' the next inning, just kind of setting the tone early in the game. After that, I thought the Diamondbacks settled in, played a solid game. Credit to the Phillies. The Padres had a few games this year where they'd score early, but then all of a sudden you get up 3-0. It's like, all right,
we're done.
Turn off the offense.
Three was the magic number.
Yeah,
Padres would score 3 in the first 2 innings.
The Phillies
and that'd be
did
over.
that, but then they got the 2 more to get to 5, made it 5-0, and then they shut it down. But that was enough for their pitching staff to keep it, just enough 5-3 and pull out that win. You can't just stop at 3. That's playing with fire. But they got that last rally where they put across a couple of more runs, ended up being critical in the end for the Phillies to get the Game 1 victory.
Yes.
So we'll see what they do tonight with Aaron Nola on the mound against Merrill Kelly. Game 2 of the series. It's not over. You lose 2 at home, you go back and you get your chances still at home. It's not like the Rangers winning 2 on the road and the Astros having to go now to Arlington and know that if they don't, you got to take 2 out of 3.
You
really.
got to.
If you don't, you're over.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a different situation, but still, 1-1. If you're the Diamondbacks, you feel like you win and split in Philadelphia. That's still a huge victory for you coming back. You feel really good about it. So they still have what they wanted to accomplish in front of them tonight. So I'm not terribly disappointed yet if I'm a Diamondbacks fan.
The stars of the Phillies, Harper, Turner, and Castellanos all have an OPS above 1,400 this postseason, and that is again
felt like last year.
That's the dream. That's the dream. That's how you win a championship. Your stars carrying you. You're going to get those knocks. You're going to get those Perdomo hitting that 2-run bomb yesterday, Ben. You're going to get the outliers. But when your stars don't perform, you cannot just count on your 8 and 9 hitters to carry your team and your pitching. You got to have production from the guys that make the most money, the guys that are expected to do it. And they're getting that right now. Bryce Harper has turned himself into an elite postseason player.
Those role players like the Perdomos or, in the past for us, the Alfaros,
right.
Those are the difference
That's
makers.
Gravy, dude. That's just gravy.
You need the stars to perform to even get to that point where you then need the unexpected Trent Grisham home run or something like that.
That's
but
exactly
you need the
right.
stars to carry you to that point, and we never really saw that.
No, we never really did, and you're seeing it right now in Philly. You're seeing it in Texas. They're playing really good baseball. So again, 7-0 in the postseason for the Rangers. Phillies are on a roll. It looks like a collision course, but it's baseball, so weird stuff happens.
All right, this segment of Ben & Woods brought to you by the Golf Mart. We got Matt Vasgersian coming up. Do not go anywhere. It's more Ben & Woods on the way right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. Now, we were just talking yesterday about your time being a boss, bad bosses, good bosses. It was National Bosses Day yesterday.
It was.
Right?
Yeah.
So that was a big topic. I thought it was interesting what came out yesterday. Welcome back. It's Ben and Woods here. 822 on 97.3 The Fan. So ultimately, if you're a baseball player, who's your boss? The guy who signs your checks is your boss, right? The owner of the team is the boss.
Yeah.
The manager is your middle manager, but the boss is the guy who ultimately pays you.
Yeah, they used to call George Steinbrenner
Literally
the boss.
That's absolutely right. So for the Oakland A's, the boss of the team is their owner, John Fisher, who has, of course, been in the headlines lately for his desire to move the team to Las Vegas, taking those steps, getting ready to rip the team away from Oakland, slashing payroll, putting on 112 loss product onto the field, no attendance, got fans protesting him, the sell the team chants that we've heard all season long. But you haven't heard much from players or coaches. Why? Well, because he's the boss, and you can't really do that publicly while you're still working for that organization. However, if you decide to no longer work for that organization, it frees you up a little bit to maybe speak your mind. You've been holding your tongue. Now, all of a sudden, you can loosen things up a little bit. And that's what happened yesterday with Oakland A's, now former Oakland A's reliever, Trevor May, who announced his retirement from baseball on a Twitch stream.
On Twitch, yeah. He's a big Twitcher.
And
Big Twitch guy.
You can find Ben and Woods on Twitch as well.
Yeah.
Search for Ben and Woods.
Not
Trevor
announcing
May,
our-
our colleague.
Search from 97.
Our
Search
Twitch-
97.
Twitch is
Twitch
97
colleague.
The Fan.
So it loosened his tongue a little bit, knowing I no longer have to report to this man who is going to be
not only to this man, but to any. I don't have to. I'm not going to play baseball anymore. So I'm out of the game. I'm good.
Yes, and that's when you kind of can get true honesty. And what resulted was a fairly epic rant that was making the rounds yesterday. It's been edited for content and time by one Paul Reindl, who's the master of editing. But this is Trevor May on Twitch yesterday discussing the A's and owner John Fisher.
Now that it's official, to the A's organization and every single person part of it, I love all of you. Every single one of you except for one guy. We all know who that guy is. Sell the team, dude. I tried to get a sell shirt. It didn't get here fast enough. Sell it, man. Let someone who actually takes pride in the things they own something. Ooh. There's actually people who give a shit about the game. Let them do it. Take mommy and daddy's money somewhere else. Dork. And also,
Dork.
if you're gonna just be a greedy own it. There's nothing weaker than being afraid of cameras. So that's one thing I really struggled with this year, was not just eviscerating that guy. Do what you're going to do, bro. You're whatever. You're a billionaire. They exist. You guys have all this power. You shouldn't have any because you haven't earned any of it. But anyway, whatever. It is what it is. Reality is you got handed everything you have. And now you're too soft to sit and stand in front or take any responsibility for anything you're doing. Yeah, whatever. Oakland is Oakland. You can make all the cases. Oh, it's not a great city. Blah, 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 blah. But you're putting hundreds, if not thousands, of people out of work that have worked somewhere for decades, and you haven't acknowledged that at all. So just be better. That's all we're asking. Just be a human being.
It's very familiar. It's very familiar to what went down here. Dork.
You've got to imagine
fantastic.
that's the general sentiment inside the clubhouse.
Take mommy and daddy's money somewhere else. Dork.
His dad founded Gap.
Really?
Yeah.
That's how he made his money from the Gap?
He inherited his money. He's the Gap fortune heir.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
None.
You didn't know that?
No.
Today years old.
The Gap.
The Gap.
The Gap.
Yes, the Gap. This is how John Fisher got all of his money. Dad and mom started the Gap.
The Gap.
Yeah. I shopped at the Gap a few times. Now I feel bad about it.
We all did. Yeah,
me too. We were all unknowingly supporting the
this
Oakland
guy.
A's moving to Las Vegas when we bought
You guys are part of the problem.
some pair of
terrible jeans,
or
a sweater, a shirt.
Sweater. I got a couple of
I
sweaters.
got a couple
with the
sweaters there
Gap.
too, buddy.
They never
I did
fit
too.
quite right. The Gap.
Dork.
It was better than some places that my parents would take me to shop. So I was like, oh, the Gap's like a little bit.
Nothing at Banana Republic ever fit me.
I liked Banana.
I liked the clothes, but they never fit me quite right.
So I liked obviously what Trevor had to say. And And there's something that happens in an owner that does this. You know, the Dean Spanoses of the world, the John Fishers of the world. The lights get so bright for them. And have you ever thought about like you've never moved, you've lived here your whole life. Things happen in your life that come up and you're like, I'm moving to San Diego. And you're like, nothing is standing in my way. Like nothing. I'm going to leave. If I have to leave a trail of bodies behind me, I'm going. Nothing is going to stop me.
I think all of us, once we've made a decision, it's very hard to change your mind because it wasn't easy to make that decision probably in the first place, and you don't want to go through the process again. So you've made your decision, whether it's to move or it's to change a job or whatever. You've decided. You can get a lot of evidence to the contrary. Like, is this really a good idea? Am I doing the right thing? But I've already decided.
Oh,
so
he's made up his
mind. I am
mind.
putting my head down. I am following through on what I already decided, months ago.
And I will take all of the fans protesting. I will take all of that in his mind, what he sees, him sitting in the owner's box in a brand new stadium in Las Vegas, being head honcho of the Las Vegas Athletics. And all of those people in Oakland, as he mentioned, all the thousands of people that have worked at that stadium for years, that he didn't, obviously he's not going to bring with them the beer concession guys, right? He just hires new people and moves on. He's not thinking about that. It hasn't even entered his mind. There are people that are cut out, that are cut from that cloth that can do it, and there are people that can't. I couldn't do it. There's no chance. There's no chance I could sleep at night knowing I'm about to rip a team from
Dean
the
Spanos
fabric
made up
of the
his
city.
mind. He wanted to move the Chargers to LA.
And nothing was going to stop
the
him.
evidence is very clear on that point.
Massively clear.
Whatever PR, talk and vote and, we built a stadium here. Long before that happened,
he wanted
Dean
to be in
Spanos wanted to get to LA.
Yep, he wanted to be in LA, and nothing was going to stop him.
Despite everyone telling him, bad idea, don't know you should do this, you have a good thing going in San Diego, he made up his mind, put his head down, and figured out a way and got his team to LA.
Yep, and that's exactly what Fisher's going to do.
And I wonder if the same thing is going to happen. I mean, when they move to Las Vegas.
I was talking to a Vegas guy there, and I asked him, because you see Raider stuff everywhere. They've done an okay job.
Oh, yeah. And the hockey team's done great.
Hockey team's done great. NBA team will be phenomenal there.
But this is different.
This is different.
Summer.
This is 162. It's summer.
Yep.
It's a team that doesn't have a lot of great players to really...
Make no mistake, when the Twins come to town, you'll get some fans.
Sure. Yeah.
It's not going to be like
football,
the NFL.
No. But I asked this guy at the airport, actually, and he had a Raiders jersey on, and I said, so are they excited? Are you from here? He's like, yeah. And I said, they excited about the A's? And he goes, not really.
Yeah.
Not really. It's kind of mild right now in Las Vegas, the temperature. And then you're welcoming in a giant piece of S is going to be running your team. That's the other thing that you think about. You're like, we're going to support this. We want baseball that bad that we're willing to support a guy that ripped that team from Oakland. That's the other thing that you have to think of. So the dollar signs get really big. The lights and the glitz of Vegas get really big, just like they did for Dean in LA. And you say, my head is down. I am full backing this thing to Las Vegas.
Good for Trevor May, though, for speaking his mind. It took retirement, but good for him for speaking his mind. All right, Matt Vasgersian is going to be joining us when we come back. Baseball host, MLB Network, Fox, Angels. We'll get caught up with Matty V on the playoffs when we return with Ben Woods on 97.3 The Fan. Got the great Matty V standing by. First this hour on The Fan is brought to you by the Caltrans Stormwater Program. Visit cleanwaterca.com. Let's change this to that by picking up after our pets, reducing pesticide use, and regularly servicing our vehicles. Learn how at cleanwaterca.com. That's cleanwaterca.com. From Caltrans Stormwater, Matt Vasgersian joins Ben and Woods right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Just one problem mentioned here. Westbound 52 before Convoy got a two-car collision in the center divide. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Even Kelly wants to get to Matty V as
So
fast as
fast,
possible,
my
so
God.
let's get to it.
Well done,
Joining us
San
right
Diego
now
drivers.
is MLB Network host. Now, see him on Fox, calling Angels games. What is the current status of Matt Vasgersian's multiple employments right now?
What's the resume look like right now?
The status is tenuous with all three employers.
Aren't we all?
I mean, we're all day by day. Let's face it.
Yep.
Sports, we're all day by day. I'm just happy to get a chair every once in a while.
Fair enough, my friend.
You get to work with some fun people, though, on all of your jobs that come into the set. I mean, how do you manage the personalities, the former players that you get to sit down with? I mean, let's not play favorites, but who are some of your favorites that you get to talk to on a regular basis?
Oh, man. I love working with Mark Gubicza on Angels games. I think he's probably the best baseball analyst that people only see on a regional level. He's really good. He's really good on the Angels product because he's steeped in the history of the team. He's so good with the nuances of what you can say and what you can't say because he knows a lot more than he says, and he always filters it properly. And he's really good with diagnosing pitching tendencies, problems, strengths, weaknesses. He's awesome. I love working with all the guys I work with. I've been really, really lucky, not to sound like a cliched, tool, but I have been really lucky.
I mean, except for Mark Grant. Obviously, that was terrible. But
Mud is a different animal. But I've never worked with anybody more fun than Mud, for
That's
sure.
True.
Still one of my best friends in the world, and Mud is a better baseball analyst than people give him credit for because he's got such a big personality and he's so likable. He's also really good at this. So, yeah, man, I've been lucky.
How many videos does he send you on a weekly basis?
Yeah, does he send you stuff to watch?
He does that to you guys, too.
Yeah,
He's
oh my
so
God,
bored.
yes! It's like, I get it, bro. I saw it. I saw Young Frankenstein, too. I know what you're talking about. You don't have to send it.
Hang on, just sit right there. Let me pull it up on
Hang
YouTube.
on.
I gotta sift through it.
Killing me, dude. Killing me.
Like, there's a funny road sign in El Cajon, and Mud will stop his vehicle, take a picture of it, and send it to me. I'm like, okay, it's clever, but go home. Spend time with your family. What's wrong with you?
You just hit the heart on the thing. I got to move on with my
thumbs up. Not even a
thumbs
heart.
up. Yeah, it's so good. Talking to the great Matt Vasgersian here on Ben and Woods this morning. I look at our franchises, right? The ones that we cover and the ones that you cover. Interesting teams. Matty, never a shortage of stories, certainly. Never a shortage of stories to talk about. Not always the most positive. But your kind of overall feeling about the Angels and where they're headed right now. I know this has the potential to be a pretty devastating offseason, losing a guy like Shohei Ohtani. It's going to be very interesting how it all plays out.
Yeah, I mean, look, there as a guy who tries to be glass half full here, potentially devastating if Ohtani walks. Sure, hard nut to swallow. But you have to look at it from the organization standpoint, and if you're a fan, that it's a chance to reset and start over again. And if there was nothing in place to kind of continue to build on, you'd be disappointed. But that's not the case. I mean, I don't think Zach Neto, the second-year shortstop, and Logan O'Hoppe, the rookie catcher, have resonated yet nationally, but those are two elite players. And if you build around those guys, with all their service years still intact, with bright futures, great on both sides of the scorecard, there's some real optimism with the pitching they've drafted the last couple years. You just have to look at it as a chance to reset. And I think that's how the Angels are going to look at it if Ohtani doesn't return. And nobody knows what that's going to look like yet. Nobody knows about The outfield, is Mike Trout is he gonna approve trade talks like it was put out there during the season that the Angels would be willing to broker in that if it was okay by Mike? And I don't know what that's going to look like either. I'm kind of assuming that Mike's going to be around, and there's still a huge potential for the Angels to just reset and get young and start over again.
It is interesting how similar the situation. Angels and Padres got a lot of big contracts. Padres had the NLCS run, but in the division, you got the big behemoth. For the Padres, it's the Dodgers. For the Angels, it's the Astros. But now you got this up-and-coming team and the Diamondbacks and the Rangers. You got a Mariners, kind of like Giants, a good team, that's been playing well.
Yeah.
And then the team you don't worry about, the Rockies or the A's in the division. But they're, really similar when you think about it in a lot of ways, which is a little troubling if you're a Padres fan to think about.
Yeah, I hadn't ever really considered it that way, Ben. That's really true. And in the case of the Angels, it's both now, because as you properly point out, Texas and Arizona have kind of walked in lockstep. These are two teams that last year were okay. They were a little better, maybe. But 2 years ago, the Rangers lost 102 games and the Diamondbacks lost 110 games 2 years ago. And now they look like they're going to be good for a while. So that doesn't bode very well for the Angels and Padres. And then, all roads always go through Houston, as they do Los Angeles in that division. Just to say that there's a moment of weakness in one of those divisions where an other than those teams could make a move is wrong, because I don't think those teams are going to be catchable for a while.
That's a really good point. Talking to the great Matt Vasgersian here on Ben and Woods this morning. I'm sure you've been watching the playoffs like the rest of us. I've enjoyed, as hard as the season was, I like the new rule changes, Matty. As a broadcaster, I'm sure you enjoyed the new rule changes as well. Getting out about 30 minutes early never hurt anybody from a baseball game. But your kind of overall take on baseball as it stands right now. Do you like everything that's happening in the game right now? What would you change if you could?
It's a broad question.
It's very broad.
Yeah,
it's
very broad.
Well, he sees a lot.
Yeah,
he
sure
sees
he
a lot,
does,
talks
yeah.
a lot.
I do love the rules changes. I love them all. I loved the 3-batter minimum, which was poo-pooed by so many people when it was instituted. I love the pitch clock. I love legislating against the shift. I think all that stuff's great. Going back a little further, I love taking what used to be 40-man roster expansion in September down to a more manageable number. 40-man roster expansion was preposterous, and it stuck around for way too long. The big bases has even been okay.
I know.
All of it's been good. As far as what's next, I don't know that I could even think of something that I would suggest. The throws over to first base, the disengagements have been okay too. That was the one I was skeptical of when they put it in play. I think it's been great. And think about this too. There's only been one inordinately long postseason game so far. If this season were being played under the old rules, we're talking about 4-hour postseason games, because every at-bat's a grinder. Every count is 3-2. There are multiple mid-inning pitching changes. And with the exception of, I believe it was game 2 in Baltimore between the Rangers and Orioles, they've all been played in a manageable 3-hour-ish window. That one went 3:45, and that's the only clunker. So it's been really fun to watch. I love the way the homers have taken center stage too, because look, that's the sexiest thing in our sport. Yep. And teams that out-homer their opponent in the postseason have lost only one game this postseason. That's the key. And when you're settling into your TV last night and you're watching the beginning of that Arizona-Philly game, and Kyle Schwarber homers on a first pitch fastball, and then Harper homers in the first, you're like, oh my God, this is a blast. So and the fans were going insane because they're animals out there. It was awesome to watch.
Matt Vasgersian is with us, and of course, Matty V was the Padres broadcaster for the last 5 years of Boch's managerial tenure. So you got to talk to Boch almost every day during the baseball season. Reunion time with Boch for the American League Championship Series here, and just seeing how he's come back out of semi-retirement to do this in his first season again. I don't know what the magic is. I always say he's not magical. He's Boch. He's just
like
Boch, but it really does seem to work, especially in the playoffs, Matty.
It does, and I don't know that anybody could accurately describe Boch's genius, because there is a level of it there. It's like a Lieutenant Columbo style genius where he plays dumb, but he really has a pulse for everybody and everything, and he's such a warm, likable guy. No one ever accuses him of being a smarty pants or a know-it-all, but in fact, he does know it all. The way he handles people, I guess, is part of his success. Everybody has the utmost respect for him. Look, they had respect for Boch before he won the 3 World Series in San Francisco. It's not just because he's won. It's because how he conducts himself, how he treats people, and kind of the shrewd eye for situations and talent that he brings to every game. I mean, that's not an easy roster to manage. I get it. There's a huge, heavy payroll there, so there's talent. But when you think about Max Scherzer, who's a different cat, super intense, think about losing DeGrom, think about Corey Seager, who's your best player, who's not necessarily a clubhouse presence. Think about how they've got 2 very young catchers directing that older veteran staff. You've got a bullpen that was an absolute gas can the last 2 months of the season that somehow now looks like it's some combination of Dennis Eckersley, Mariano Rivera, and Lee Smith. I mean, that's Boch. That's all Boch. Like Boch. How about yesterday? I don't know how much of the game you guys watched.
All of it.
Boch could have pulled Nate Eovaldi in the 5th.
Yep.
Bases loaded, nobody out. 99 out of 100 times, a manager pulls his guy there. Doesn't matter if it's Cy Young or Warren Spahn. You're going to get your guy out of there. Boch left him in there, and he got out of a crazy jam. I mean, that right there is the top of his resume when they're inducting him into the Hall of Fame. In addition to the 3 World Series titles.
That one too, Matty. And then I thought, okay, he got out of it. There is no way they're sending him back out. And they did. I thought he had to be gassed, mentally exhausted after getting out of that, real high leverage pitches, high stress pitches.
He did give up a run.
He did give up a run, yeah. And then, but he still let him come out. And I mean, that's a guy that knows his staff and trusts his guys. It's been
maybe
impressive.
He is a wizard.
Maybe he is. Yeah, maybe he is.
The way Matty talks about it, now I'm not so sure about. Boch anymore.
Matty, before we let you go, I had a little throwback for our audience. How's your nephew doing? Do you remember this story?
My nephew.
So I got a call from a friend that said, hey, can you talk to this kid? He's interested in broadcasting. So I get on the phone with this young man, and I talked to him for a while. And I believe it was your nephew. And he says to me, yeah, my uncle is Matt Vasgersian. And I said, why are you talking to me? Why are you asking me for broadcast advice when your uncle is Matt Vasgersian? Hang up with me. I know nothing. Call Matty V. Does that ring any bells?
I mean, have we talked about this?
We have. We talked about it on the air.
See, this is where I got to stop. The self-medicating.
Sniffing glue, yeah, I get it.
Stop. Whatever I'm doing, it's just killing all the synapses.
Sounds like Woods was catfished at some point.
I might have been, but that's what the kid told me. You have a nephew, yes?
I have godson.
Maybe it was godson. Okay. My godfather is Matt Vasgersian. I said, well, call him. Call him. You don't need me. It's incredible.
Maybe it's more in the
Multiple
crime family. Uncle Matt. Uncle Matt.
Uncle Matt. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I'm not the one you call.
There was that.
If you know Matt Vasgersian.
Tour I did in the French Foreign Legion, where there might be some things happening I'm unaware of.
You are a gentleman and a scholar, my friend.
I appreciate it, Matt. Keep up the great work. The great news is now I'm in a text thread with Matty V, Woods, Mud, and I just got a text from Mud and a video, so perfect.
Yeah, so he was listening. So
great.
Fantastic.
Great. There was like a crazy license plate on 15 North that he had to stop and take a photo of.
Oh, God. Well, it's even worse. You'll see it when you hang up the phone.
You're going to see it in a second when you hang up the phone.
He's absolutely incorrigible, that man. Thank you, Matty V. Appreciate you, buddy.
You guys are the best. See you, man.
See you.
Matt Vasgersian with us, and catch him on MLB Network, Fox coverage, and still with the Angels. That guy juggles more jobs than I do, which is saying something.
You remember that story, though.
I remember you telling that story.
Maybe I didn't tell it to Matty V.
I don't know that you told it to Matt. You just told it to us, and it was like, I mean, I have to say, Matty doesn't even seem like, I don't have a nephew. What's
got
going on?
godsons.
Who is coming up to Woods saying I am Matty V's nephew?
No,
Because-
a friend reached out and said, "Can you talk to my son? He's interested in broadcasting." So I talked to this kid, nice kid. He's in college, and we're talking, and I'm like, who do you have anybody else you can? Yeah, my uncle or my godfather, whatever. He said is Matt Vasgersian, and I go, "Why are we talking? You don't call me. I don't know anything. I'm the luckiest guy in the world. I fell into this. I have no idea what I'm doing."
I get that also. People in television go, "Oh man, how did you get this job?" I could use some advice. I want to get into sports TV, and I go, "You're asking the wrong person. I've had one job my entire life. Yeah. I started at Channel 10. I'm still at Channel 10. Couldn't tell you how to get a job. I didn't even get the job at Channel 10. I just was asked to fill in a couple of times, and I was there.
That's like how you got our job.
And they gave me the job. Exactly. This is how I got every job I've ever really had. I'm just there.
So
and they need someone.
The advice is
just lurk around.
Yeah,
get in the building and lurk.
That's literally what I tell people. I say, if you can get in the building and be there, and then when they say we need someone, go, I'm here. That's how I've gotten every job in my life. So I know that's not how the real life works, though. Most people, you send out your resumes and you interview in small markets.
You go to Wichita.
Yeah, you do the next thing. And I don't know how to do that because I've never done that. So don't ask me. I got a very weird career trajectory here.
It does make me laugh when because we have people come in from time to time. Hey, do you mind if they come check it out? Yeah, sure. Come on in. We'll see how see how the sausage is made. And so, Woodsy, how'd you get into radio? I go, I got a phone call on New Year's Day that asked me if I wanted to move to San Diego and be on the radio. I said, sure.
Try that.
Sounds good.
Just stand by your phone on New Year's Day and see if someone calls.
Bleedingly hungover. What's up, dude? Yeah, sounds great. And I was on the air a month later. So not the traditional career path, as it were, but that killed me when that kid said, yeah, my godfather is Matt Vasgersian.
You should probably be calling him.
Talk to him. He knows a lot more people and is way more well-respected than me.
I see in the chat some people were disturbed by my comparison of the Padres to the Angels.
Hey,
but
truth hurts,
It's
man.
more accurate than I think we'd all like to think it is. I get that the Angels have had more misery and less, postseason appearances now. The Padres at least had
one
2022 and 2020 in the short season. I know that doesn't really count, but you throw out 2020, you're one season
in
away from being the Angels, spending tons of money on star players and having nothing to show for it. You're that close to being the Angels, unfortunately.
Yeah, it sucks. The truth hurts. You know, it does. Sometimes it's hard to say, but I have felt sympathy for Angels fans for a while, and apparently now I am one. So it's tough. I mean, Mike Trout with one postseason appearance in his entire career. Shohei never got to the playoffs with the team, two of the best players in the world. They threw money at guys and it didn't work out. It's just the comparisons are pretty similar. And the divisions, like you said, good point. The divisions are very seriously close as well.
All right, we are done with 3 hours now of Ben and Woods. We're almost done. I know Woods likes to say we've got 5 more minutes left.
Yeah, 5 more minutes.
We will come back. 9 o'clock hour is ahead, including the Reindl Report and a story about how one guy got himself out of jail. And it involves sports.
Pretty ingenious.
Yeah, that's I wouldn't necessarily recommend it.
I don't even know if this story's real, but it has gone viral, and I really hope it is real.
All right, we will get to that coming up next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We are exactly 1 week away from the NBA season openers, which means we are exactly 6 months away from Woods caring about a basketball game once they get to the playoffs or the finals.
I don't even care about that. I always say every year, I'll watch the playoffs,
finals,
and I never watch.
All right. So
it's not my jam, man.
Not worried about you, but we do have a basketball season starting in 1 week. Hockey season's already underway. That means
yep.
Like winter is right around the corner.
It's 85 degrees out.
It's pumpkin patches are going to be closing up here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
The way Woods feels
Christmas tree lots are opening.
The way Woods feels about basketball is kind of how I feel about hockey. I have nothing against hockey.
Yeah.
I just have never been able to get into it.
Well, it's weird because I used to be way into it. That's the weird part. When I lived in Chicago and we were going to Bulls finals games, I was like, I'm watching history. I was way into it. And I wouldn't necessarily call myself a Bulls fan. I didn't have like Bulls gear. But I was like, I get to go to the United Center tonight and watch Michael Jordan.
It was the place to be. I mean, it was the
awesome.
Epicenter of sports.
It was awesome.
In the 1990s.
I was so lucky. My timing was
Now,
impeccable.
did you ever go to like Blackhawks games?
Never went to a Blackhawks game.
Dallas Stars?
I went to a ton of Stars games. But we went to Stars games to like hit on girls because we were single and there were a ton.
You look good in a hockey sweater.
And I didn't wear a hockey sweater. I wore my going out gear. And you go to the games and it was like packed. And everyone was wasted and having a great time. I loved going to both of those. But the NBA
Reunion
now,
Arena? Is that what it was called
Reunion
back then?
Arena.
Yeah.
Well, then the American Airlines Center is great. It's a great venue. If we had a basketball team here, I'd be in. If we had a professional NHL hockey team here, I'd be in. I'd watch the games.
I like going to Gulls games. They're fun. Hockey in person is always fun. I like how it's cold in the arena with the ice, and you can kind of wear a sweatshirt or a sweater and just kind of be warm, and you hear the skates, and it's different than watching on TV. Regular season TV, I can't really sit and watch a whole hockey game. But now playoff, overtime, like you can't turn it off because it's one goal and it's over and it's very dramatic. But you're a long way from that in hockey.
There's an amount of bandwidth that I have that I can handle as far as being way into a team. And the Padres suck up a lot of that bandwidth, a lot, to where the winter for me is like, cool, I'll throw a football game on here and have it on in the background. But baseball season, I'm so invested for 162, I'm exhausted.
I think hockey players like baseball players, there's so much skill involved.
Yeah.
But I can appreciate the skill in baseball because I played a little bit at least growing up. I know how hard it is. I can't skate. I can't do a stick. I know it must be very hard, but I really don't know how hard it is to fire a slap shot at 112 miles an hour past a goalie. I know it's really hard, but it's still harder for me to appreciate that sport the way I can appreciate baseball. Now, basketball for me, basketball players, NBA players are the greatest athletes all around on the planet, I would say. I mean, you can argue like decathletes or but I think pound for pound, you're not going to find a better class of athlete than you will on an NBA court on any given night.
Yeah, what they do is pretty staggering. And if you think they make it look so easy, go out and grab a basketball today. Go to your local YMCA and try to dribble with your left hand if you're a righty. Try to dribble the length of the court and then shoot a left-handed layup. Do that a couple of times. Take a jump shot from three. It's way farther than you think. I just did this, by the way.
Yeah,
I went to the
dunking a basketball.
Yeah, I couldn't.
No chance.
I can get net. Could you get net?
I can't even get net anymore.
BS, you're 6'8".
My vert is like 2 inches.
I don't even think it's 2 inches.
It might not
Stand
be.
up.
I'm going to hurt myself.
Give me a vert right now. Give me a jump. Let's see if you can even get 2 inches. Go. Oh, yeah, like 6 inches. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. I could fit like a thick book under there when you jump, like a dictionary. I could get it under there.
A dictionary.
Yeah, that's way better than I thought it would be.
Can't get to the net, though.
You can get. You're 6'8".
I can almost get it when I'm just standing and reaching, and I can barely get there with jumping.
That was good. That was way better than I thought.
Well, I think maybe the SDFatLoss.com has helped with the vert a little bit. I haven't really tried it in the last couple of months.
I just went to the Y a couple of weeks ago, and I finished my workout, and I walked into the gym, and there was a basketball laying there. I go, oh, this will be fun. It was not fun. The slide is just throwing up bricks, can't dribble. It's I think it's just a bandwidth thing for me. I just got done watching 162. You know, I just got done watching every pitch of a 162-game season. I can't rip through 82 games of a basketball game and 80 games of a hockey season. I just can't. I can't do it. I don't have it in me.
I mean, I'm by far the biggest basketball fan. Well, I mean, Ben is a big basketball fan, Lakers royalty. I don't have a team, though. But something about Tuesday and Thursday nights on TNT.
Sure.
That crew, it's always the best games of the week.
You know why else I hate? You know,
that's where I kind of limit it to that.
I hate it is because it's the hardest sport to gamble on. It's a terrible sport to gamble on. NBA basketball it feels impossible. And I've done it a couple times.
7.5 point spread between the Spurs and Nuggets on a Tuesday night.
Based on his recommendations, I'll bet, and I'll be like, that was awful. It was excruciating.
Oh, crap. Jokic is sitting?
Yeah. It's terrible.
A lot of backdoor covers on the 8-point spread.
Yeah,
at
chucking
the end.
stuff up
for
at
sure.
the end. Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's get some headlines. It's time for the Reindl Report.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a oh yeah? Oh yeah.
All right.
All right. Gentlemen, let's start a bit of an update on a story we talked about yesterday. Talked about new sports heading to the Olympics in 2028. And baseball was one of them. And Bryce Harper was asked about that before yesterday's Game 1 in Philadelphia. His quote was, "My wife actually had a hair appointment this morning, and she texted me happy birthday with that news that baseball would be returning to the Olympics. She said, hey, I guess one of your birthday wishes forever got granted." He says, "I'm going to be old at that point, so I don't know if they're going to want me on the team.
I think
but it's always a dream. I think it's everyone's dream to be in the Olympics, especially coming here." This is again in 2028, not the 2024 Summer Games.
He'll be 36.
So it was in the 2020 games in Tokyo. Remember, we got the silver medal with not generally major league players. Nick Martinez was on that team that won a silver medal.
Is it not going to be in 2024?
But it's not going to be in the 2024 games in Paris, and then it'll be back
moving
for 2028.
forward.
Yeah, and moving forward, starting in LA.
So those games are typically late
Right.
June through mid-July?
I believe so. July to August, I think, is
July to August?
when the summer games are usually in like July to August. So you'd have to stop the season for probably close to 2 weeks. Not like the World Baseball Classic. We already have the World Baseball Classic, really.
Yes, that's for the
that's
the
the
pros.
Olympics for baseball for pros.
Yeah.
So I don't think we need another Olympics for pro baseball players.
You do minor league players,
like you did in Japan,
and
essentially.
you do X maybe, or Bryce Harper. I would imagine, it's 5 years away, 4 years away, 4 years, 5 years away,
5.
He'll be 36. I'm assuming he's still going to be playing, DHing for the Phillies, and doing his thing.
Oh yeah.
So imagine if you're a Phillies fan, he's like, I've always wanted to play in the Olympics. I'm out. I'm taking off for 2 weeks to go play in the Olympics. I don't know how it's
Plus
going to
risking getting hurt.
Yeah, the logistics of all of it are a little bit dicey. So will be interesting to see who they end up recruiting.
is there
College players or
Can
whatever.
you envision any compromise? Can they start the season a week earlier, extend the season a
Not
week
do
later?
an All-Star game that year and do the Olympics
It's
instead.
once every 4 years, and I mean that's Bryce Harper. He talks about how that's a childhood dream. I'm sure he's not the only one. Is there any workaround?
Do the Olympics in November.
Really don't think so. I mean,
really don't
they're not
see one
changing
either.
the dates for the Olympics.
No.
Let's see. The 2028 Olympics are going to be July 14th to 30th. So it's essentially the All-Star. It would be during the All-Star break plus another maybe week. You could get it done in like an extra week because it's not the entire 2 weeks. Maybe you could
hate it.
Compress it a little bit. I don't know.
Well, again, if you're putting together the Team USA and you just have a bunch of college kids, is that really Team USA?
Well,
you know what I mean?
Isn't Team Japan a bunch of? I mean, Their best players are all in Major League Baseball too, as his team Puerto Rico, as his team Dominican.
Right, but it waters down the whole
team
product.
Dominican. I mean,
not just the United States.
Yeah,
it waters down the
every
entire
single
product.
team's best players are playing on a Major League Baseball team right now.
Maybe they do shut it down then.
I think it'd be kind of cool.
Play for country,
once
I guess?
every 4 years. It's just one time. They extend, start the season earlier, end it a little bit later.
Interesting.
Not have a WBC then in 20, and then there's a WBC. When's the next WBC?
Just had 23, so
27 or 26.
Is it
every
4
3
years?
years?
It's every 2 years or 3 years?
3 years? How do we not know this?
I don't know.
But then you're going to have an Olympics, and then either within a year, one way or the other, you'd have a World Baseball Classic. Seems like a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, that was a big meh on all of our opinions of the Olympics and baseball.
Happens. That's how I feel about the Olympics. It's all right.
All right, let's get to this audio. So there is a TikTok video going around. I think I saw it had 12 million views at least when I saw this video. And the story goes, again, I don't even know if this is true or not, but just reading here, it says incarcerated Rashid needed $10,000 to make bond and decided to make a bet. And it was a 6-team money line parlay.
Okay.
$500. All 6 teams need to win. He needed $10,000 for his bond. All 6 teams did win. He netted $13,466, and there was video of the phone call.
Man, just bet $500 on this ticket. Make it a parlay. All right, I got Raiders over Patriots. I got the Jets over Eagles. Bills over New York Giants. Lions over Tampa Bay. Rams over Cardinals. New York Liberty, the basketball team. Yeah, the WNBA. New York Liberty over Las Vegas Aces. Yeah, make all of it a parlay.
$500.
So he
6 wins.
risked his freedom on the New York Jets.
Yeah.
Beating the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, it took the
essentially.
Jets over the Eagles.
The other ones all made kind of sense to me. He risked his freedom counting on the Jets to beat the Eagles.
He didn't really risk his freedom. He was going to be in there anyway if he didn't bond out.
I mean, I would have picked if I had to get out, I would have picked the Eagles.
Me too. And you would have been sitting your ass in jail this morning.
That's incredible.
That's amazing.
Who hits
a
it's better to know
16er?
sports and not need sports than to need sports and not know sports.
That's true. $13K.
But did King Stallman turn him down? I mean,
yeah, you got to have money to bond out.
well, he had $500 to make the bet.
What do you need? You need 10%.
Well, but you pay the bail bondsman who gives the 10%, right? And then you pay the bail bondsman. Like the $500 could have gone to the bail bondsman, who probably could have gotten you out, I would think.
Well, now he's free and clear.
Well, now he doesn't.
He's
He's got extra cash in his pocket to hire a lawyer.
Is that real?
Like,
sounded kind of made up. Sounded made up. Yeah, he's like, yeah.
New York Liberty.
The WNBA. Yep. Okay, just parlay it together. I don't know. I don't know if I buy it. It's TikTok.
Never know. All right, and finally we'll wrap up with some food story here. Where does Papa John's rank on your guys' list of not, the chain pizza,
very
Papa
low.
John's,
It's very low.
Domino's, Pizza Hut?
Just Papa John in particular was always very creepy to me. And then he turned out to really actually be really creepy. So I felt good about that decision. But even before he was known to be kind of creepy, just the ads just skeeved me out a little bit. So
Have you had the pizza?
yeah,
I don't like it.
I don't really like it either.
Yeah, it's not great.
It's just
But I
a
wonder
little,
if this could
the
sell
crust
you.
is too soft for me. Yeah.
Perhaps
Floppy.
this could flip you.
Floppy.
It is loose.
Yeah.
The pizza chain. The pizza
Needs to go to
chains.
West Coast Men's Health.
They're trying to get creative. I've seen commercials for Domino's, like cheesy stuffed bread sticks with pepperoni mixed in there.
Delicious. Yeah.
Sign me up. I'll take that.
I mean, I've seen those Pizza Hut like quesadilla smash things. I mean, they love
It's
putting
like
cheese
a
inside of
calzone.
things
They like to
nowadays.
put stuff inside of stuff.
I mean, I'm not opposed to cheese.
So Papa John's has a new dessert style dish coming out, and it's called Papa Twix, I think. Papa Twix Papa Bites, and it's the dessert item. It's got Twix bars cut up and mixed into the pizza dough, and then it's got cheesecake filling inside, and it comes with a caramel dipping sauce.
cheesecake and Twix. You like it? I don't. All right, so hot take.
It's
Ben.
like a doughy ball with
I see that.
Twix mixed in.
Hot take Ben does not like the mixture of bread and chocolate. I don't like Nutella on toast. I don't like chocolate croissants. I don't like that mixture of bread with chocolate. I like cake, like chocolate cake, but chocolate bread is not something I like together.
Twix
chocolate
Papa
chip
Bites.
muffins, I don't like.
I don't like those
I'm
either.
not a big fan.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. But it's got Twix. That's not chocolate.
Well, there's chocolate.
I get it, but it's not chocolate. That's
$5
cookie.
$5 at Papa John's. You get 8 little Twix bites.
I'm in. I'll eat them.
Now, they also have another.
The picture looks rather sweet.
Ooh, chocolate donut you like.
I don't really like chocolate
BS.
donuts.
Chocolate frosted
I don't
donut?
know.
My
I don't.
ass.
You've seen me not eat the chocolate donuts.
I will
don't
snort-
like chocolate.
I will snort
don't
a
like
chocolate
donuts
donut.
either.
Inject it.
Now, chocolate cake donut I could probably do, but a frosted glazed chocolate donut I don't do that. I like glazed or maple bars or cinnamon rolls. I like
That looks incredible. Actually.
So these hit the menus next Monday.
Those are 45,000 calories.
Now they also have another version, it says here, with crushed up Oreos instead of Twix.
Yeah, I like that one. God, that looks good.
Just soft melted Twix. Yeah.
Yeah, that picture is really getting me. That is getting me. Cheat day.
Gotta wait until Monday.
All right, I can wait. Thank you, Paulie.
Reindl Report complete. I think we're going to do some Tier 1 topic wheel at the end of the show. So if you want to get online and participate in our wheel spinning fun, you can do so. 833-2880-973, just the random questions as the wheel determines, and we'll answer them, and you'll answer them coming up as well. Still have some baseball playoffs to look ahead to as well, and we're going to give away some tickets. Got Adam Carolla's coming to the Belly Up. Have a giveaway when we return next with Ben and Woods after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. Got a former GM with some thoughts on Juan Soto. Welcome back.
Fantastic.
Get to that in a second. First, a reminder, you can tune in to Kickoff with Boomer and Valenti every Friday night at 6 p.m. here on 97.3 The Fan, always live on the free Odyssey app, presented nationally by Casamigos Tequila. Casamigos, brought to you by those who drink it, and by Lowe's. Lowe's knows home improvement. Jim Bowden, former GM in Major League Baseball, now athletic writer, says he would sign Juan Soto to a contract extension if the Padres can manage that. And I don't think any of the people in this room are going to disagree with that take, that if the Padres can find a way to keep Juan Soto here for the long term, do that. But if they can't come to an agreement and they don't want to go into a lame duck season and potentially lose Juan Soto to free agency, Jim Bowden has come up with 5 trade partners he thinks make sense for the San Diego Padres.
Preseason trade partners? Okay.
Yeah, this offseason. Number 1, the New York Yankees would be his number 1 target, Juan Soto. He thinks that the trio of Soto, Jason Dominguez, Aaron Judge make the best offensive outfield in the sport.
Pretty decent outfield there.
Now, Dominguez has to come back from Tommy John, but figure, eventually would be there. He says the Yankees could offer a package of Major League-ready talent, including pitchers Michael King, Johnny Brito, outfielder Everson Pereira, infielder Oswald Peraza.
Pass.
All right, Woods doesn't like that. All right, he says number 2, the Boston Red Sox need to make a splash this offseason. Soto would qualify, but who could they offer for the San Diego Padres? Prospects like outfielder Miguel Bleis. I've never heard of him. Right-hander Luis Perales. I don't know much about those guys.
Nor do I. I've never heard of them.
How about number 3, the Seattle Mariners as a possible destination for Juan Soto? Put Seattle right into the upper echelon then of a tough division.
Yeah, give us Julio Rodriguez.
The Mariners are blessed with enough starting pitching to offer potentially a guy like
Keep seeing Woo's name mentioned.
Yeah, or Miller. He said he brings up Bryce Miller could be someone they'd
Miller
offer.
from the UT.
That would be interesting. No, not Bryce Miller from the UT. The young pitcher Bryce Miller.
Maybe we already have him.
And one of their top 5 prospects, like outfielder Gabriel Gonzalez or catcher Harry Ford, and 2-for-1 deal for Soto would be a huge price to pay for possibly 1 year of Soto. I mean, if you're gonna trade Soto, I like the idea of getting a young, already gotten to the big leagues pitcher like Bryce Miller.
Yeah,
that would be someone that I at least think about discussing if you were going to do a Soto trade.
Still doesn't feel like enough.
All right,
generational superstar.
Number 4. San Francisco Giants.
Oh,
They've been looking for a superstar, obviously. They tried to sign Stanton. They tried to sign Judge. They tried to sign Correa. They didn't get any of them.
You're walking into an anthill covered in honey. With doing that move.
Yeah, having to face them all. But
the rest of your, because they'll re-sign them. What
would a Giants package look like? Probably has to start with their best pitching prospect, lefty Kyle Harrison, plus shortstop Walker Martin, who was a second-round pick.
We have plenty.
Outfielder Luis Matos. That's a robust package for 1 year of Soto, he says. You don't want to trade him in the division.
No.
And then
I don't want to trade him, period. I know.
All right,
it sucks.
And then finally, number 5, he says, the Cleveland Guardians. Will you stop laughing and let me explain? He says, Guardians have a young, talented, inexpensive rotation. What they're missing are impact hitters. You can upgrade beyond like Josh Naylor, guys, by adding a Juan Soto.
Soto and Ramirez together would be pretty nasty.
The Guardians could potentially swap their ace, Shane Bieber, and left fielder Stephen Kwan for Soto. Bieber is a free agent after next year. Could help the Padres fill the void left by Snell in their rotation. And Kwan, a Gold Glove Award winner, would give them improved defense in left field and another high on-base percentage player for the top of the lineup. Keeps the Padres in win-now mode, even if they trade Juan Soto. I've never seen Woods roll his eyes deeper into the back of his head than he did.
It's never going to be enough. Well, if you do it, it's never going to be enough.
Of all those 5, the one that would be the most intriguing would be the Mariners if you could get a guy like Bryce Miller.
Not even, still. I mean...
Control, like 5 more years of control for a young...
that plays every 5 days,
near top of the rotation. But you need pitching, though. Yep. You need pitching badly.
Nah, pass. Never going to be enough. The war he will amass in his career...
Then you got to sign him.
Well, 100%. The war he will amass in his career will far outweigh anything you get back. Forever.
Yep.
Don't worry about the debt service. Don't worry about anything. You have to re-sign Juan Soto and then figure it out later.
Yep.
But if you do that, you know what you at least have for the next probably decade.
The
It's
biggest
Juan
thing,
Soto and Fernando Tatis Jr.
Correct.
The biggest
And
thing
Manny Machado.
hindering a Juan Soto extension is the contracts that the team has already given out.
course.
So that's your own problem that
Yeah.
you created.
You're painting yourself
Figure
in
it
a corner.
out.
Yeah.
Because Juan Soto and Fernando Tatis Jr., that's who you build around.
Defer it. If you do whatever you have to do, defer it.
We'll
you
pay
know?
you $10 million a year for 40 years,
Yeah,
like
that's
Bobby
like-
Bonilla.
Seriously, figure out a way to defer some. I know
That will be the trade. That
Give him some
just
like
haunts
5%
you.
ownership of the team.
See, I wish they could, because you do that.
They don't allow that in baseball.
No.
You trade Juan Soto, it will haunt.
It's
this
going to haunt
team.
you the rest of your life, in my opinion.
You do not want to be the team that
What do I know?
traded Juan Soto.
But doesn't it haunt you even more if
Especially
he
before
walks
a
as a
contract
free
year.
agent and you get
Yes.
nothing for him at the end of the year?
Yeah, that blows.
That's,
That can't
that's what
happen.
haunts you the most.
Yeah, that can't
You
happen.
had Juan Soto, you didn't sign him, and you didn't get anything at all for him either, other
The
than
least-
a compensatory draft pick.
The least enviable job in the world is held by AJ Preller right now. I can't even.
Morning, guys.
Morning. I don't even know why you would want to keep this gig. That's what you're up against right now. Unless Peter says our checkbook is unlimited, screw Major League Baseball and their debt reduction. We're going for this again. You're screwed. You're screwed. You're going to have to make the toughest decisions. I wouldn't want that job. It would keep me up at night. It would keep me up for weeks, wondering what to do. No package you get back is going to
I
be
think
good
it
enough.
keeps AJ up at night. I don't think he sleeps much.
Yeah.
So, all right. If you're holding for Tier 1 Topic Wheel, we will get to that next. But right now, we got a couple of lines open to give away. Pair of tickets to see Adam Carolla at the Belly Up on January 7th. Tickets are on sale now at bellyup.com. Be the third caller right now, though, to win two at 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. Do you ever imagine? Remember when Jimmy Kimmel was just the sidekick to Adam Carolla?
I do.
The young one has passed the mentor.
Oh, yeah.
By leaps and bounds.
It
now.
happens.
But Adam Carolla is coming to the Belly Up, and you can win tickets right now. 833-288-0973. Tier 1 Topic Wheel to wrap up the show next here on 97.3 The Fan.
It's a pretty amazing scene going on in our YouTube chat right now. Jeff says, you guys should do a segment where what would you as the fan do to keep Juan Soto on the team? So much Jeff loves him. He said, He said,
give up ice cream for a year or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Well, Jeff goes a little more extreme. He said that he would let someone tase him in the chest. He said he would work a coal mine for 1 month. He would wear a Dodgers jersey for a week.
You'd work a coal mine for a month, but only wear a Dodgers jersey for a week.
That just goes to show you. Yeah.
You're saying so the equivalent, wearing a Dodger jersey for a month is the equivalent of working a coal mine for 4 months.
Correct. 4 weeks.
No. It's one for 4. So
yeah, you said 4 months, 4 weeks.
Well, no, the coal mine would be 4 months. If you I would wear a Dodger jersey for a month to keep Juan Soto. That would be easy.
Well, you love LA. There's a picture of you and Dave Roberts in our studio, so that surprises no one.
But if everyone knew I was doing it so Juan Soto could remain a Padre,
if I'm Juan Soto,
I think I'd be okay with that.
If I'm Juan Soto, I say, what are you guys willing to do? Just see what you can get out of it.
Sits back.
Jeff standing at Petco, just, all right, here we go. Just shock the crap out of him.
I told you guys last week. I got tased when I was in college.
Yeah, Paulie got tased
for fun.
Voluntarily.
You didn't even get to keep Juan Soto at the end of it.
I don't know that I would do it again.
Even I've never been tased, and I've been in trouble a bunch. Man, I'm not working in a coal mine for Juan Soto. That I promise you. Nor am I getting tased. You know what?
Nope.
I want the ownership to pony up the money it takes to sign him. Our fans shouldn't have to walk around in Dodger jerseys.
And then you go and buy lots of tickets and stuff for your team. That's all you have to do as a fan. You don't have to do anything crazy.
No.
Just support your team. Buy some tickets so the owner has then money that he should be using to pay for good players on that team.
They've done that. They have supported the team.
That's exactly how the model works, really. If you're in a good city with good ownership, it works very simply. You support the team. The owner then makes the money off of your supporting of the team and then reinvests that money back into his team to try to bring a championship to said city.
J. Rue says...
No tasing.
No tasing, please. No coal mining.
I'm not doing it again.
J. Rue says, no way, Ben and Woods. I'd rather let Soto walk if it's either trade or walk. At least this way you have a better chance to win a World Series in 2024.
100%.
And the comp draft pick sounds much better when you have a ring to show for it. I mean, thinking that San Diego Padres are going to win the World Series in 2024 is a bit of a stretch. You have 2 starting pitchers, right?
Well, I would say it's much more of a long shot without Juan Soto.
It's much more of a long shot, but it is still very much a long shot.
If we knew that we were going to get a World Series in 1 year of Juan Soto, we'd all say fine.
Fine.
I just think you can't count on that. Well, yeah, Juan Soto's coming back. So the Padres, 98% they're going to win the World Series.
No.
We already know that even under the best of circumstances, it's tough to win a championship. Yeah. And the Padres had a better chance in 2023 than they're going to have in 2024. It doesn't mean they have no chance in 2024.
Correct.
They actually had a pretty decent chance going into last year of winning the World Series. They'll have less of a chance going into the year. But that doesn't mean they can't do it. They just have to have a lot of things go right next year.
Yeah, obviously, as the roster stands today, certainly. We don't know what it's going to look like come spring training, but I can't imagine it's going to look as good as it did going into last season. But we will see. Stranger things have happened.
All right, let's check traffic one last time, and then we'll get into the Tier 1 topic wheel next year on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Couple accidents wrapping up our morning drive. One of them is an overturn crash that's partially blocking the Market Street on-ramp to northbound 15. And 2-car collision on westbound 8 before Taylor Street. One vehicle over the left shoulder, one over to the right shoulder. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Would you do the Fryer cut for a year to keep Juan Soto? A year on the news and everything. Channel 10. Be a legend.
Probably would be worth it, yeah.
It's the worst haircut ever.
It is bad.
It's terrible.
Like with the bald spot at the top.
Just
and
the top.
ring.
And the hair coming down in the front is still there. But it's shaved.
I don't like that look.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
I've done it. It's terrible.
Yeah.
You don't want it.
I don't want it. I really don't.
For
My
a
head is
year.
such a bad shape, too.
Yeah.
And I'm on television. I feel like that would be... It'd be pretty bad, though, as a Padres fan, to say you wouldn't do that. If it really would mean keeping Juan Soto.
But it shouldn't have to.
It shouldn't have to. But if that really was the difference, if Peter Seidler came and said...
Ben, I'll do it.
I'm not going to do it except under this one circumstance. And the whole town knew that the reason I was doing it was to keep Juan Soto, you'd have to say yes, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you'd really be a jerk if you didn't do that.
You would get stoned in the streets if
exactly.
you didn't do it.
So, I mean, who's going to make fun of
you vain turd?
How bad would it be to make fun of the guy who got the haircut to save Juan Soto for his terrible haircut? You got the stupid haircut. I'm doing this for everybody.
I did it for you, buddy.
I did it for you.
I'd be screaming at Juan Soto every time he didn't get a hit if I had the Fryer cut.
Look at me.
Yeah, look at that, you idiot. All right, let's spin it.
Spin it?
All right, let's go to it.
Oh, we got a caller first?
Yeah, we got Brad. All right, we'll get Brad on the line here as the wheel spins.
Hey, gentlemen, how you doing?
Good, Brad. All right, the wheel is spinning. Topic forthcoming.
By the way, I make.
Hold on.
Go ahead, Brad.
Go ahead, Brad.
I was gonna say, by the way, I'd have my wife wear that haircut to keep Soto.
I don't know that she'd be your wife much longer.
No, that would be a tough one. Would you rather have you or your wife have to have that haircut for a year?
Me.
My wife.
That's the thing. Yeah, I don't know that I want to have to live with it. I'd rather
trust me.
All right.
Soto's like the guy who shoots a 65 on a Sunday and finishes 4 strokes off to win.
It's fair.
All right, Brad, we'll start with you. The topic wheel asks, crunchy or smooth peanut butter?
We have devolved.
Ooh. No,
Crunchy,
that's a good
man.
question.
Crunchy.
Crunchy all the way.
Really?
Creamy.
All right, I've been a smooth peanut butter guy my entire life. I hated crunchy peanut butter when I was a kid. Like, hated it. I recently was at the store and accidentally bought the crunchy, and I go, oh no! But now I've stuck with it, so I thought, I'll give it a try.
I don't hate it.
That's peanut butter.
It was
That's what it's
really,
supposed to be.
it was really good. I thought my palate has evolved.
I like them both.
I like the texture. It wasn't quite as some peanut butters can get a little sweet. It was the Skippy, and I like Skippy, but the addition of the nuts actually. I like Skippy, but the addition of the nuts, I thought, took it to another level.
I'm sure it did.
I'm sure it did. Hope you and Skippy are very happy together.
Oh, God.
Skippy and Jif are similar, but to me, I like the texture of Skippy better. Why do you find it so funny when I say Skippy?
How do you guys eat your peanut butter? If you put it on crackers, you don't want nutty. You want creamy. Because I only eat mine really on crackers.
I usually put mine on a piece of toast.
I don't do that.
I'll make a PB&J.
I don't do that either.
But I'll also dip chocolate pieces into it.
Deviant.
What do you mean deviant? It's like a homemade
I won't
Reese's
buy
peanut
Reese's.
butter
I'm
cup.
going to make my own.
I do.
We've got Reese's at home. It's not
I like
the same.
the dark chocolate from Trader Joe's dipped into a little Skippy chunky peanut butter. It's a nice little treat.
Next.
We need to get another caller on the line here. Let's see. John, is this you're on the air with Ben and Woods. Good morning.
It was fantastic.
What's happening, boys?
Hey, you ready to play a little tier 1 topic wheel?
I just turned on the hit. I'm ready for a game. I wasn't aware, but now I am ready. I'm pumped.
There's no
can handle
prize.
it.
There's no game. It's just a question. Here we go. We're spinning the wheel.
Sure.
Don't worry. It's easy.
All righty.
Just be honest.
And the winner is?
What is the last book that you read?
I used to
The
read
last
so
book that-
often. Yeah,
Let's
go ahead.
ask the
Go ahead,
listener,
John.
Ben.
All right.
Settle down. Do nut topics.
Oh, man. It was actually, I can't remember. I think it was called Walk This Way, but it was an Aerosmith, not the Steven Tyler book, but it's an Aerosmith biography. But, hey, on that note, you guys are geniuses and you don't know, because a couple weeks back you came up with a night job for yourselves. You're going to call yourselves, you're going to be a tribute band. You're going to call yourselves Motley Crue.
Motley Crue.
And the best part is you won't have to sing. You can sing the backing tracks, right?
Yeah.
Am I on mushrooms right now? What happened?
Don't know. Thank you, John.
Thanks, John.
Last book that you read.
I'm almost finished, but it's a Jim Morrison bio that I'm reading. Life, Death, Legend, I think it's called. It's really good.
I used to read like all the time.
You don't have
and
time
I definitely slipped in
read.
recently. I think the last book I read like all the way through was the Phil Mickelson, the Alan Shipwreck.
I read that too.
book,
That was really good.
Which was good. Yeah, absolutely. It was
Really,
good.
really
Very
good.
He's got another one he's sending us, Live and Let Die.
Yep.
That's just out now. I think we're going to talk to him at some point about it too.
Yeah, he wanted us to read the book first.
Yeah,
so
well, that's
fine by
fair.
me.
That's fair. Yeah.
Paulie, what about you?
Couldn't tell you.
Oh, really?
I don't read.
I have a friend who's that
I can
way too.
read.
Does
I don't
not
read.
read
My
books
wife doesn't
at
read
all.
at all. Yeah.
It's probably been 10 years since I've read a book. Probably longer.
Really?
Cover to cover. Wow.
I think part of it is
I
there's
didn't read a book in high school.
There's so
even.
many things now you can read, like for the job, like athletic stories, and I mean, just constantly
same.
online. It's not the same.
It's not.
But I feel so much more time reading all that stuff now.
I've definitely done audiobooks, start to finish.
I've never done one. Never done an audio.
But I could not tell. It's been years since the last time I
But
picked up a book and read one.
All right, what was a book you remember? I know this isn't topic, Will, but like a book you grew up, like was formative for you that you read.
Oh, dude, how many? Catcher in the Rye was. I'll never forget when I read that book the first
that
time.
makes sense for you.
Oh, it blew me away. But when I was a little kid, Lion Witch in the Wardrobe was phenomenal. When I was like probably 8, 9 years old, read that book. There's been a lot along the way. I was an English major, so I love to read. I
I grew up with the Harry Potter books. I was
Never read
probably
any of those. I
probably
missed
in
that.
third grade when they came out.
I missed that window.
It opened up a whole new world. I mean, you could read.
So you read all those books and then you stopped reading?
I read 4 of them.
Doesn't make any sense.
There's 7 books.
If you'll grind through
You didn't
those,
finish all of them?
No.
Oh, that's weird.
Well, the movies
but like
started
if you grind through those, I figure you're a reader, and then to just be like, I'm out.
Yeah, I was also 10.
That's fair.
I read a lot of science fiction growing up,
Shocking.
like Ender's Game and stuff like that. That's kind of the typical stuff I read, of course. Yeah, nerd.
Yeah.
That's me. All right, do we have any
Dork.
other callers? Let's go one more. We got Tyler. Welcome to Ben and Woods. Good morning. How are you?
Good.
You ready to...
What's up?
It's good enough for me. Spin it.
What is happening?
Oh, there's so many to choose from here. Let's see. I'm going to guess on this one, but we'll start with Tyler. Have you ever ridden on a motorcycle?
Well, yes, no question.
No.
No. Have you wanted to and just haven't?
No.
Fair
Wow,
enough.
never.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm with you, Tyler. I am a no and a no.
Really?
I don't really want to. I mean, I like having the wind go through my hair. Just feel like motorcycles really scary on the road and the freeways, and there's cars all over the place. Just feels very risky.
My friend Anthony had a Yamaha Virago was the name of it, and I was like, "Can I try it?" And he showed me how to ride it, and it was a little harder than I thought it would be with the foot clutch and everything else, or the gears on your foot and the clutch up here. And once I got the hang of it, he's like, "You can take it home if you want." So I took it home. He lived 3 miles from me, so I would ride it around the neighborhood. I never went on the highway. I just rode like side streets, but around the neighborhood, I'd ride it to work and stuff. And he let me like have it for a while.
Do they have automatic transmission motorcycles? Or
I don't
no?
think so. Those are mopeds.
Okay.
But that's the thing.
Which
I always wanted to know, like, if there's an auto, what do we need the gears for? Like, let's just let me monitor it with my hand here. But whoa, sounded weird. But I loved it. And if you could guarantee me today, you will not die in a motorcycle accident, I would buy a motorcycle.
That would help. That would definitely help. But I also
loved it.
I also don't want to be seriously maimed in a motorcycle.
Okay, fine. But like, you're never going to get hurt. You'll never lay it down.
If you got a call, there's an emergency at home. You need to take the motorcycle downstairs. That's your mode.
That's
That's transportation.
yeah,
home.
I could get home.
Could you get home?
Yeah,
you could do it.
I don't think I could. I've never driven I've been on a motorcycle.
Arms around somebody as they were driving.
Really.
Always a
It was
good
a blast.
Guy or girl?
It was a guy.
Yeah.
It was my buddy.
Always looks super cool.
Well, so I had just moved down to the dorms at San Diego State and didn't have a car. Flew down here. But he lived here a couple of years already and lived by the beach. He's like, "Dude, I'll come pick you up." Cruise down to the beach, like come down. He's like, "Come hang out at my place." I'm like, "This is awesome." I had a Vespa.
I feel like I'd be a really big guy on the back of a motorcycle.
I had a moped in college that I think it maxed out at like 55 miles an hour, so I'd not taken on any highways.
All right, a fellow Encinitas resident.
Yes.
I'm an old guy yelling at cloud.
You're going to yell at the kids on their
e-bikes,
e-bikes
that are proliferating all over the place now. They're not all.
But the kids have fun.
I don't mind them having fun, but when they're actually on the roadways, it always feels like they're not following traffic safety enough. I mean, we've seen tragedies already. Had one just up the street from where we live on El Camino Real just a few months ago. Yeah, I mean. But it seems like I see close calls seemingly like every week on those things.
Freaks me out.
It feels like all the kids in North County have them now, all over the place.
My wife has said, under no circumstances will Bo ever have one of those.
And then there were the hoodlums who were driving all over the golf course that we talked about.
I want one for myself.
I want one too.
I love a motorized vehicle.
Like, no chance.
Yeah, I actually want my own bird scooter as well. Hannah won't let me get that either. Because she thinks the kids will steal
like Jake Cronenworth.
Yeah, like Crony has.
Yeah.
Brought it right in the clubhouse.
Doesn't even have to rent it by the hour.
Nope,
he just
I don't
gets to keep it and go home with it.
I see those kids every day. Obviously, I don't get mad at them because I remember that they're 16. I just pray for their safety. I just don't want them to get hurt because they're fast. I mean, they go 40 miles an hour.
They're like highway speeds.
They're fast enough to really, really get hurt. And you'll see a couple of them the one on the back on their phone, and I'm like, oh my God. And I want to stop all of them and say, please be careful. So I'm hyper aware driving around there.
Maybe
it's
a stupid
crazy.
question. How much more dangerous are they really than just being reckless on a bicycle?
Yeah, because I drove like a lunatic on a bicycle.
Bomb down hills like a moron.
Skateboards.
Without a helmet sometimes.
Yeah. It's just the evolution of kids.
If you do your job right and teaching them the right way on how to use them and protective gear like a helmet.
I mean, we never wore helmets. I never wore a helmet. My whole life. Never ever. And I'd be like, yeah, right. I'm trying to get girls here. I'm not wearing a helmet. And now I'm like, I'm not getting on a bike without one. So, things change. But I don't get too mad at them. They were our gangs. There's like packs of them. Like 40 at a time will pull up to 7-Eleven. You're like, what is happening right now? But I just try to remember you were a 16-year-old punk, one day too. And I try not to get too upset.
Did you skateboard at all?
I tried. I was terrible.
You did try.
Yeah, horrific.
Never could manage it.
Oh, I could skate.
Ollie? Any skateboarding?
That's all I could do is skate.
Skateboarding, rollerblading, and BMX bike.
Wow.
I was a big fan of all of them. I was okay. I
couldn't do any tricks on the skateboard?
No tricks.
No.
I could ollie. I could ollie, and I could kind of kick
ollie
flip.
Is when you just kind of
flip it.
Okay.
Like I could cruise with anybody.
I could skate.
I just couldn't do a whole lot of tricks.
You couldn't jump on the railing of a
God,
downhill stair and slide down it. Oh, that's so cool.
I would have done anything to be able to do it.
So
cool. I was not skilled enough to do it. I have such respect for those guys because it's really, really hard to do. Very, very hard to do.
You know what happens when you fall on that railing?
It hurts.
At the best, you're landing on stairs. At the worst, you're landing on a railing.
On your crotch,
perhaps.
Yeah.
It's like really bad no matter what happens. If you miss that trick, that's a bad one to miss. I always wonder, how did you learn how to do that without
trial and error, baby?
Maiming yourself?
Trial and error. That's exactly how they did it.
I know, like those jumps, they have foam pits that they do their tricks and they fall into.
But nobody had that when you were a kid.
Yeah, you don't do that.
No.
You got to learn the painful way.
Yep. I tried to drop in on a quarter pipe one time at Jay's house. He goes, drop in. I couldn't do it. I cannot do it. I will absolutely break my tailbone.
All right, I know the show's almost over when Woods has already left the live stream, and I don't see him anymore. So that means we're done for a Tuesday. Good show today. We'll be back. Adam Jones Wednesday tomorrow, I presume, around 7:35, usually for AJ. Coach Braden coming up next for executive producer, imaging director Paul Reindl. For Stephen Woods, I'm Ben Higgins. Have a great rest of your day from all of us here at San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. So long, everybody.